fun day Monday usually for G2 Spot, but it is time for them to take on Shifters. Let's get to it.
Let's get into it. The final day of LEC Spring Week 4 as G2 and Shifters take to the stage. And the question is, can Shifters start to right the ship, Vetty? Because it is going to be a struggle. They have a long road to climb. I don't really climb roads, usually you drive along them, but if the road has an incline...
Especially if they're in a ship, medic.
I've mixed a few metaphors here, haven't I,
friend, that you have. But it does not matter because it's a Monday afternoon and we're getting ready for the start of another beautiful week. But it is the end of week 4 of LEC, as you were highlighting earlier. It's G2 versus Shifters. Shifters yet to find a win. Yeah. A series win, I should specify, so far here in the LEC. Whereas G2, they've looked a little shaky. You know, a lot of people have argued, it's just regular season G2, and yes,
exactly.
I wish I could say otherwise. Unfortunately, they've done this multiple times, so they look kind of met in regular season, and then they look really good in playoffs. So until that changes, unfortunately, this narrative will never change. But it does mean that some teams have opportunities to potentially find some upsets. Which the question is, can Shifters, in fact, be that team?
Fnatic already found one.
That's true. And then they immediately lost the next week. So
yeah, well, it's also an upset joke. Yeah, see, that was layers, man. I'm building a cake right here.
Right.
You know, we have
You mean like an onion?
Yes, exactly like an onion. I've never seen an onion cake. That would be interesting. Anyway, Shifters got right of first selection. They decided to be second pick. G2
E
blue side.
evo nas ljudi moji, G2 i Shiftersi. Prvi game dana, čeka nas apsolutni banger, kao što smo rekli, G2 Shifters, nakon toga SK KC, jako bitna partija za SK, jer im je u suštini u pitanju opstanak. Sa druge strane, za Shifterse je baš slično, ali oni nisu nijednu pobedu našli, tako da oni izgube još 2 meča i oni su isto doomed.
G2's Rumble, I think, is still a big question mark, especially given that, I mean, BrokenBlade's Rumble is, I would say, fine. It's fine, but I do think BrokenBlade is just having a bit of a rough split.
Really rough split.
Yeah, so, okay, Shifters are banning it. So one could argue that this is a good thing for G2. In any case, that does mean that Karma is likely going to be the priority, or Bard. We have seen this team prioritize Bard a lot. It's usually LeBron's go-to. In fact, he hasn't actually played a Karma game this split yet.
No, we have seen Karma banned against them a few times. Also banned by G2 in 70% of their games.
Oh, but Rise is open.
Rise is open.
Yeah.
Rise za Kapsa, Azir je ostao otvoren, to je fajn.
We do not see a Rise like we saw in the LCK yesterday morning.
Ne znam neki da je što vidio, ne znam o čemu pričaš. Možda je neka greška u Discordu, autokorekt ili nešto.
Behind the tier 2 in mid lane, looking for a flank on a Jhin. The Jhin just stayed under his tower, and the Rise and his teammate had to walk out through the top side while the rest of their team died in the team fight. It was not ideal. Ezreal obviously has a little bit of an escape from things like the Rune Prison, so we'll see Paduk piloting that in this game. It's something he's very comfortable on. Also, the only AD carry that Paduk has won a game on this split. So, G2 better watch out.
Sharing some facts right now. I like that.
Look, okay, I watched the facts segment. Very good. Loved it. Your delivery could have been slightly better. Also, we needed a soundbite when it was like facts, boom. You know, like a stamp.
There was a stamp.
Okay, I didn't hear the stamp.
There was.
It's just chat stats, man. You do a podcast with the guy, and you just make a segment.
I ne volim da mi imaju malo te iz ljubavi.
I shared facts. That's what I did. I shared some facts. Which is what you did right now. We just didn't quite have the sound effect. Anyway, what is G2's answer to Ezreal Karma? Maybe something creative, or maybe Korkinami. That's also fine. I'm still, so I asked Gyoto.
Yes.
Why won't anyone play Blitzcrank? And he says, well, you can't get Prio in 2 versus 2.
That's true.
Play Blitzcrank, and I was like, yeah, you can.
How?
Just hook them.
Yeah, if they stand behind the minions, you're so mid-lane brained that you forget about the minions. Ezreal Karma actually, the bot lane duo. The only time Shifters won a game so far this split. So, you know, Paduk went 7-1, Trimby went 2-2-12. And Nivio is the lock into that Rise, no surprises there, which is something I didn't expect myself to be saying in 2026. The Nivio Rise matchup, one that we have seen a few times, and kind of abusing the fact that Rise has a relatively short range. Now we're going to get some top lane bans. Sion taken away from BrokenBlade.
Mislim što je najjače od svega, Shifters su stvari realno draftovali.
He's been very good on things like the Jace, and I wouldn't mind the Jace in a relatively heavy poke comp from Shifters.
Yeah, it's funny because you know I've been playing too much Riftbound when I think, oh yeah, Shifters, they've got a really effective mid-range control-y comp. I mean, look at it, like they've got so much objective control, they've got good poke, like setting up around neutrals is really effective, relatively short range in the form of Rise, like it's all coming together nicely for Shifters. I do like the idea of the composition that they're building. There's that Jace band that you were worried about.
I wasn't worried about it.
No, but in terms of Roost,
Jer ovaj draft Shifters u stvari uopšte nije loš. Jer uzeli su Ezreal Karmu kao prio i counterpikovali su Ryza sa Nivijom. Kao ovo je legitimno savršen draft od Shiftersa. S tim da oni imaju problema kad trebaju da igraju mnogo više nego kad trebaju da draftuju, tako da ima i toga.
Right, the Pantheon. Over in the LCK, this is like first pick, by the way. Like
it's really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's now made its way into the ban phase of second. Okay, with the Vayne definitely says it's either a Cassante or a Gnar for G2 up in the top lane. The fact that Vayne now has to be a ban, kind of crazy. I don't even think Vayne top is that good. Like, even in the lanes that I see it played in, it never builds such a huge lead that I think it's a problem. We even saw yesterday cloth armor with 4 pots, which actually just survived the Quinn lane completely fine, which is similar idea.
Vayne Jace.
So, you know, I feel like there are ways to deal with it. I don't love the Vayne ban.
No, Rooster je igrao Vayne, ali... Da, hoće da cheese countera, Ambessa mislim je dobar pick.
Poppy top could bring it out. There's the Vi for Bukada, something that he does love to bring out from time to time as well. And we'll see where G2 go. Jungle, top are the 2 picks. As you said, we most expect to see the Cassante. Like, Cassante would make a huge amount of sense here for BrokenBlade. Nav as well does a similar thing. And haven't actually seen him on that yet this split, but Nav is it's a top lane staple. If you haven't played a little bit of Nav, you truly lived in top lane.
The true BM now for Rooster is to lock in Yasuo.
Yasuo sam teo da kažem i ja. Yasuo, Cho'Gath i Irelia? Ili samo Ambessa s Electrocutom?
For me, he's a big point of contention.
You have discussions about Nocturne?
So many.
Okay, interesting. I've never heard you talk about the champ before.
I think he's a bad champ.
Okay.
Right, but the reason why he's good is because early dueling, especially into Vi, he slaughters Vi. Vi can't do anything. You can literally, I mean, we've seen Razork do it. You just walk into the jungle, Vi can't do a thing. You cannot trade back. The passive in conjunction with just the additional AD that he gets from his Q early levels, really, really strong. Ooh, a Kali answer into the Gnar. Pretty creative counter pick there. We can talk more about that when we get into game. But the thing about Nocturne is the thing is, I think it's quite good early once you have pushing lanes, right? Your ability to invade, put pressure on enemy jungle, mitigate what Bukada wants to do. But in the late game, I feel like that the thing about Nocturne is he is very committal, right? Like you are in there, and so you need champs that can follow. But what is it, a Realm Warp Rise? Is that how you
Anivia, to jest Akali top.
I feel like that these are just kind of anti-dive-esque champs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm not disagreeing with
Gnar.
you at all.
What are you doing then?
I'm just saying that you can go in with a Valkyrie. You can jump on people's heads.
Are you trying to hit me with facts right now?
I'm trying to hit you. Look, there's a ton of followers. Realm Warp exists. Phase Rush, Betty.
Right, yeah.
Gnar Goomba stomping on someone to jump over.
Right.
You can ride the tidal wave. Your little surf
you
on.
You can ride the tidal wave, can you?
It's possible. First Akali game we have seen in the LEC from Rooster. Only the second time he's played it all time. Last time was 2022, where he was playing on HLE Challengers. He lost that game, went 2-5 into a Sion matchup. You know who was playing the Sion?
Tell me.
Dundun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Yeah. It's been a while since you've seen him. As we get into game 1, Skew also on his Nocturne 0-2. So he agrees with your facts, Veddy. Good facts overall. For G2, obviously sitting at 2-2 so far in the standings. For Shifters, we talked about it, have only picked up 1 game win, not even a series win so far this split, with a victory against Vitality. Apparently, Rooster is 5-4.
Da, sviđa mi se ideja Akali Gnara, iskreno.
So I was looking at his top lane Akali games, but of course he did used to play mid.
Donekle.
So that's my mistake.
Donekle.
It's only the second time we've seen Rooster on Akali top. The last time was in
Gdje je zbog?
2022.
Nije, mislim, ne znam. Još Ignite Akali.
Obviously you weren't listening because I just said it, Vaddy. Dundun.
thought we were revising history. But anyway, this is the whole point of Nocturne. Fight early. You get bonus AD for the... Ooh, did he actually...
Sto je Skewman, ovo je lepo odigrao Skewman.
This is great for Skewman, and this is exactly why you pick Nocturne into the Vi matchup specifically. The bonus AD you get from Q... oh, I haven't played Nocturne in ages, but it used to be 20 at level 1. I can double check, see if it's still 20 at level 1. It's 15 now. I did know that they nerfed it, but I wasn't sure if they nerfed it at later or early levels. But 15 AD at level 1 is the equivalent of a longsword and a half. Isn't longsword 10 AD? Yeah. So yeah, it's just, it's so much raw damage, right? On top of the fact that the passive really helps you as well, getting that extra bit of healing. And so Vi, who just kind of, I mean, what does she really do at level 1?
Hey, she punches and does something while punching. I can't remember what the full quote is. Punch first, ask questions while punching. There we are.
There you go.
Punches first.
Great quote. Yeah, so all of the top side will be stolen. The question then is, does Bukata now move into the bot side?
Ili će onda Nikola da uzme svoj bot, ali sad bi Akali trebala da zna da je Nocturne na topu. Pa okej. I šta sad, Rooster? Flipaš da dobiješ kill ili umiraš? I guess da umireš. Pa dobro. Znao je da je Skewman na red side-u iza njega i uopšte nije igrao oko toga, jako čudno.
I feel like he should have been a little bit more prepared. You know that the enemy jungle is sitting in your top side. You've been isolated from any jungle support. You're not running TP as well. The Ignite does give you a little bit more kill pressure. Well, it gives you a lot more kill pressure, really. But without that TP, you're now going to be heavily hurt. And if we could just quickly look at that top lane observers, we can see that the wave has been frozen.
Yeah, I think this is why Rooster was trying to shove out the way he was, right? Like, if you know you're playing into a range into melee matchup, or melee into range matchup from Rooster's perspective, getting the wave under tower before you get ganked, which is the expectation, is vital, right? And so now Rooster, again, has to be a little bit further up in the lane that he wants to be. Skewmond coming across will realize his Krugs are still here. Only 2 camps stolen away by...
Skip.
Oh, he skipped his blue buff, actually, just so he could get back to the bot side of the map. Fair enough, Skewmond. Yeah, but so far, fantastic early game for him.
I Cork je verovatno jedan malo AD carry-a koji spajkuje kinda kad je Ezreal. S tim da je Cork je dosta veliki model pa ga Ezreal lako pogađa, ali možda mu parira u spajku. Tako da mu u stvari fine da igra u Eza.
You can already see that small pink bar under both of their names. You can see that BrokenBlade is about a half level over Rooster, which is going to be the biggest thing that delays Rooster's ability to really fight him, because obviously BrokenBlade 6 is going to come through earlier, and that's then going to give him a much bigger advantage in the top lane 1v1.
And it does make sense to put Rooster behind, because he has so consistently been... Oh, good stun with the flash rush. Bukata misses the full breaker flash! Okay, that's about all you're going to be able to do in the mid lane. But yeah, for Rooster, although his KDA is low and shifters have been losing, actually one of the best
Caps je...
top laners we have in the league.
Igra, mislim, Anivia je giga dobro Ryze nema mobility oko zida. I onda jednom kad proko je phaser, u stvari je jako lagana meta. Shifteri su stvarno objektivno gledano lepo su draftovali. Mislim, mimo ajde Akali Ugnara je kao cheese, Rooster bi cheese-ovo svejedno, samo je pitanje šta je hteo, ali... Kao, realno su lepo su pikovali i Han sama nema barijeru, a neće da flasha. I onda rikneš. Jer je uzeo TP i mislio će Ez igrati TP, verovatno.
Maybe he underestimated the damage coming through from Paduk. The TP will bring him back into the lane, but the wave is in a fantastic spot for Paduk. 1-to-1 in kills as the bot lane of Shifters fight back.
Yeah, this bot lane and the Ezreal Karma combination worked out for them against Vitality here, coming up well so far in the early game, but Skewmon's still the person that we have to be looking at in terms of how G2 are going to accelerate their advantage. He's already 3/4 of the way, half the way to level 6. When that Nocturne gets his paranoia, things become a lot scarier for you. Padukka's button, his flash obviously has the arcane shift, but if he uses that aggressively to try and put more pressure down on Hansama and Labrov, he is at risk of a flying Nocturne.
We didn't talk about it earlier, but Exhaust coming through from Padukka as well to help with the threat of the Nocturne diving in. Cool little last hit there from BrokenBlade from over the wall. No scope. 360. Level 6.
So first, it wasn't a 360.
No,
he didn't do a spin, and he was looking at it.
Ulting.
Going in with the paranoia.
Ali Bokada je 5. Skewmond je 6. I bukvalno taj start Skewmonda ostavlja kapsu. Bukvalno taj start Skewmonda što mu je čizovo džunglu ga je doveo do toga da hita 6. pre. I Han samo se sad bije pod egzostom i opet nema combat summoner. Ovaj TP mu je toliko useless pick bio, ja vama ne mogu da opišem. Nema ni flash, ni ult Skewmond. Nope. Ni nju ne može da ubije, ne može da juri ispod kule. Mogu da dive-uju eventualno. Labrov da uzme... Dobro, ništa, ne. I sad će... Joooo, bože. Kada dobija Q još malo, a Labro nema mane za bubble. Ode i on sad. O bože mili, koja fiesta. Ajoj.
Can't park there, mate. Instead, parks a little bit further away.
Now, it is my job to help the viewer understand what is happening. The problem is that when I don't understand, my job becomes somewhat harder. Ultimate will be thrown out from Paduk to see if he can snipe, but as you quite rightly identified. So let's hope that the replay can help me understand. The idea here is to try and get that pick onto Paduk. He's very low. So now they go, okay, we can dive this, but you can't because you don't have a minion. So Hansama immediately has to get away, then the tower is stacking up, and then Skewmond, you've got no flash left. So a very ambitious dive, which is then responded with Shifters saying, you know what, we can dive this. And unfortunately, we have to go back to live, because I know that some shenanigans are happening.
Petak nema flash, ajoj. Avengers Assemble. Pa dobro. Dobar je da kupi vremena. A i Nocturne ulti, oni su dosta investovali u ovo. Pa su stvari investovali dosta ovaj... Ovaj chase. Ok, Bokada flash? On nije čuo što umire kaster od smeha po ovine. Šta se događa ovdje? Ovo bi trebao da je šampion Evrope, by the way, sa leve strane.
As we find ourselves 4-4 in kills. 8.5 minutes in, we've got a kill per minute. This is not what I was expecting to happen in this game, but this is the reality that we're living in, so we are going to go with it. Both teams are bloodthirsty. They're eager to punish the opposition at every moment that they can find. Duck, are you the next target?
He is the next target, Betty. It's hunting season for Hansama as the Duck was blind to the threat in the tri-bush.
Ja sam iskreno ljudi mislio će ovo biti 40 minuta za 2 partije i da idemo samo na SK case jer to je ono što je nama bitnije. Jer kao realno gledano ako Jopa izgubi tu, onda je već malo problematično.
Definitely a nice item spike for sure. Top lane, I think BrokenBlade isn't too stressed about this counter pick coming through from Rooster, given that early gank that came through. The threat of the Ignite is still there, but meanwhile on the rest of the map,
SK ako izgubi još jedan game, oni su mislim ispali. Onda su fazon 90, nisu matematički ispali, ali 99% su ispali. Onda mora se poklopi toliko stvari da oni dobiju tiebreaker match, što mislim da se realno neće dogoditi.
Mini ARAM, I guess, is happening because there are grubs to be found, and so Trimby actually gonna go across, get this Scryer's Bloom, get a little bit of vision.
Dragon hasn't been taken yet. Oh,
BrokenBlade, Shuriken, Twilight Shroud, perfect execution coming out alongside the Ignite. BrokenBlade's gonna go Mega after that Ignite ticks down, so it'll still be topped up. Grubs have been started by Skewmond. As you say, no real Dragon prio so far. There's a small window for G2 to do it. But instead they went for a blue buff steal. Bukada, looking towards this top side, has the cease and desist. BrokenBlade throws a house into the minion wave, and after that just backs away, swiping at a helicopter as he does so.
BrokenBlade going for that early magic resistance, really helping him out in terms of the matchup and Rooster's kill threat. You can see that with the all-in combo, if Rooster had been able to get another Q off, maybe there's a world where he actually had execution threat Trimby.
Hans with a good trade onto Trimby here. Focuses off, has the Valkyrie away from it, realizes, well, I've been rooted like this once before in the lane, perhaps don't want to do that a second time. Skewmon once again looking for that steal, has the Hex Plate completed, but a Sundered Sky on Bukada's side does make it a little bit harder to trade effectively as Trimby backs away right in front of their faces, almost gets clipped by a cannon, or a missile from the cannon barrage. It's weird that we're not seeing a Drake take.
Yeah, it's usually because you play around Drake using your bot prio, but bot lane has been killing each other permanently, and a lot of ganks from both junglers have been invested into bot lane, and the junglers often die when that happens.
I Cubsi nuk isto dobro igraju. Mislim, interesantna, mislim, ne znam, pa da opet mislim s obe ekipe dalje malo intuju, dalje malo prave greške. Sviđa mi se Bibijev Negatron Cloak s Trinity Forceom. Realno možeš kupi Vicent kasnije, bude skroz fajn. Znaš šta je fora? Sad ću vam pokažem nešto, samo da izvučem link. Gledaj to. Kliknite na ovaj link ovdje, koji ću vam sad dati u chatu. I onda scrollate dole do tabele. Vidite kako je Vitality zelenom bojom. Vitality ima kao zelenu boju iza imena, što znači da su lokovali playoff sigurno. Ali heretici koji su 1-6 nemaju crvenu boju, što znači da nisu sigurno eliminisani još. Znači da postoji neka matematička teorija gdje oni mogu da prođu dalje. Što mislim da zavisi od ove partije. Mislim da ako G2 pobedi, jer trenutno je G2 jedina ekipa koja je tu kao... Mada opet, mislim, ko zna, i KC je 2-0. U teoriji KC možda bude 2-7. Jer ti kad pogledaš, niko od njih još nije lokovan. Tako da to je neka moja teorija, zašto znam da Riot, to jest Leaguepedia obično stavi tu crvenu pozadinu kad je neko eliminisan 100%.
On the screen at the time, and then I look back down, it's like, well, the Drake's already taken, we're popping up that little text bar, it tells you what it does, it reminds us what it does as well, which is...
Jer u teoriji čak je da su 2-6 bi bio SK, i G2 i Fnatic i Shifters i Heretici mogu isto biti 2-6. Tako da možda postoji 5-way taj za, mislim, to kažem opet, to se neće dogoditi, kao bukvalno nema šanse dogodi, ali mislim da ne mogu zvanično kažu se eliminisani, jer kao možda se dogodi, kao i dalje može međusobno susretu, ne znam ni ja šta da se nešto iskombinuje. Da tipa imaš ekipe koje su na 2-7, imaš 3-way tiebreakera. Da, u nešto, ono, da, baš da se poklope kockice ludačke, kao sve da nekako ispadne kako treba, ali realno gledano ako izgubi od KC-a, a već su izgubili od koja, pobedili su Fnatic, što im je super, ali mislim da ako G2 dobije ove game i onda oni ispadi iz tog 2-7 pula, i onda mislim da ako G2 dobije da potencijalno su rip. Jer onda ako si 1-6, pa dobro, može biti 3-6 i dalje, zar ne? Oni bi bili 2-6. A njima ostao samo KC i Vitality. Da, 2-7 je najbolje što mogu imati. To je 9 partija, oni igraju 9 partija po splitu. Tako da mislim da ako G2 dobije, mislim da to potencijalno lockoutuje SK, jer je SK već izgubio od G2-a. Da, ja mislim da tako ide. Iako izgube od KC-a, KC je jedina druga ekipa koja ima 2 pobede. To znači da ako KC pobedi imaće 3, G2 će imati 3. I onda šta, SK ako pobedi Vitality, opet će u tiebreakerima biti eliminisani. Što znači da oni moraju da pobede. Da, zadnju igru protiv Vitality, a tu će Vitality ih i šutira, tako da je malo dumt.
The strength of Akali right now, well, the Trinity Force has now been finished for BrokenBlade, so maybe they feel a little bit more confident on the side of G2 to actually fight them should the Herald be started off.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Imperial Mandate on Labrov matched by Trimby's Echoes of Helia means they're relatively equal in terms of damage or shielding output as well, so it is going to be an interesting one to see if we see that fight around the Rift Herald, because you talk about, like, oh, they've hit their spikes, they can look for a fight, but it's like, how do you actually find the fight is often difficult, and neutral objectives is an easy way to do that. Skumon playing towards the top side is spotted out on the control ward. Bukada, man, this guy has made he's got a camp, he's put the pegs in, the tent is set up, he's got his sleeping bag ready. He has been up here quite a lot of the time, and it doesn't surprise me, because getting Rooster ahead on the Akali makes a lot of sense. Vault Breaker onto BrokenBlade just as he goes mini, Betty. Cease and desist there for the follow-up, and the jump isn't going to get him out of Ignite as he ticks down. Rifthold is now the new target, and Shifters have a man advantage, although they have used 2 big ultimates to find that kill.
Well, they'll be happy getting the Herald off the back of it as well, as Shifters find that pick and top, convert that top pressure down towards the Herald. G2 know that they don't have the numbers advantage to already contest, especially with Caps. And Nuke now, his ability to TP up. Easy objective secured, and Rooster getting to become a real problem on the side lane. And I don't really think that this is necessarily BrokenBlade's fault per se, but I mean, there's a world where perhaps he could have been a little bit more considerate, seeing as that really feels like the only lane that Shifters have been looking for ganks for in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's always one of those, like, play safe and you're dying under tower. He hasn't died under tower, he's died in the middle of the lane, but he also wants to get prio in the top lane to allow his jungler to do the Rift Herald, allow him to move down without losing camp.
Mislim, to je cool što ako ništa sad imamo u stvari kao mečeve koji su bitni. Kao prvih nekoliko nedelja baš bilo šta god, ali sad je u stvari je fun jer je toliko toga na liniji. Jer ti kad pogledaš realno, sljedeće nedelje, ako se ne varam, sljedeća nedelja je zadnja nedelja gdje će 4 od 10 ekipa u LEC-u igrati. I onda nakon toga kraj splita i onda do 3. splita ne radiš ništa. No flux given. A to je bilo dobro. Neću lagati.
So BrokenBlade now hesitant to try and match in the top side, given the strength of Rooster in the side lane. So instead they overcommit numbers on the bot side. Skumon ends up getting caught out. I can see his flash is available.
Da, ne, znači još 2 vikenda. Ja nisam dobro pogledao. Znači, još 3 vikenda. Kako još 3? A dobro da je KC nema partija, ni G2 nema partija još. Da. Dolazim sebi, upalit ću sljedeći game kameru. Bukvalno sedim u mraku i sabiram se sa životom trenutno, tako da upalit ću kameru sljedeći game, trenutno se sabiram. Hodao sam s Klarom 10 km po gradu, jer smo ljudi u fazonu, trebamo šetamo Luja, trebamo da, ona trebala neku knjigu da kupi, rekao ajde prošetat ćemo ga do tržnog centra jednog. Taman kad ga već šetamo da spojimo knjigu i tržni centar. I na kraju smo hodali fazon 13.000 koraka, došao sam kući, pojeo sam nešto, odspavao sam 20 minuta pred LEC i bukvalno ne znam kud bijem. Znači gledam kroz monitor trenutno. Bukvalno sam ustao u 5 do 5. Mislim, spavao sam 20 minuta, nisam nešto puno spavao kad sam se vratio, a baš sam i umoran. Tako da sad sjedim u mraku, gledam na jedno oko, drugim gledam kroz monitor i chillam. Da, ona ima dosta knjiga, ona nego je sad uzela jednu, prvi deo da vidi da li će da joj se svidi i onda onda ako joj se svidi će da uzme i ostale. Ali smo se našetali još Beograd, ideš ili ideš nizbrdo ili se penješ uz planinu. Znači nema ravno da ideš. Znači riknuo sam, 14.000 koraka sam prešao pre leca. Trimby neće da flashuje.
Half your team is resetting, you have no prio really anywhere. I mean, I guess you did have the push in the top side, but you end up getting caught out, and G2 picked themselves up a kill, and this was something that we heard yesterday. Ooh, hang on a second, it looks like Bukada's looking for another gang.
The season assist is available. Rooster looking for the chase. Gunblade for the slow, they dive onto BrokenBlade once again, and BrokenBlade dies once again. Not much you could do about that, unfortunately for BB, as he has died for the 3rd time this game.
Yeah, and he wasn't playing disrespectful at all there, just Rooster's at a point where it's now very easy to kill Menina, especially when you have the CC setup from Bukada. Going with Merc Treads and the magic resistance from the Null Magic Mantle is, sorry, Negatron Cloak, my apologies, it's not enough. It's just not enough. So yes, he's the target, but he's basically relying on his teammates now to be that carry, and hopefully he can land some big ultimates for his team later on when we eventually find ourselves in the 5v5.
Yeah, it becomes utility now at this point, right?
Jeste, da. Tako je, Kevine. To je ta. A još kod nas kao sve knjižare nude popust, a nije popust na engleske knjige. Pa okej. A mi čitamo na engleskom knjige samo.
Item-wise, relatively similar. There's a noon quiver and a longsword difference, but nothing too substantial. Importantly, Hans Summer has yet to upgrade his boots, whereas Product did go for the Ionian boots of Lucidity as his upgrade. So it's a little bit of gold spent there from Product that Hans Summer hasn't invested in the Yeezys. Other shoe brands are available. Air Jordans. You think of any other ones, Freddy?
No.
Converse, New Balance.
You're saying a lot of words right now that I am largely unfamiliar
Hey, we had that Foot Locker sponsorship for a little bit. I thought you would have read up, you know? This was 7 years ago now.
Ran up? I would have...
Read up, Freddy.
Oh, read up. I thought that was some sort of clever pun that you attempted to make.
My puns are all not very clever, let's be honest. As G2 have decided, okay, we've had enough of BB in the side lane trying to match into Rooster. He just can't survive it right now. So we're going to put Caps over there instead. And Caps obviously very good wave clear and can also shut down the Akali in terms of CC when she tries to jump in, just room prison her, and then run away with the phase rush. So
I still don't think it's an easy match.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's probably easier than BrokenBlade getting constantly killed.
Because, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the wave clear. Mainly just Akali doesn't have the fastest wave clear, so Ryze walks up, one-shots the wave leaves.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest pressure point that they can have. BrokenBlade actually setting up a bit of a freeze here in the top lane, trying to get some
Fair, Kevin. Totalno fair.
In a minute's time, he should be able to get that level up, but Shifters already trying to be proactive with their vision control. Looking at the entrances, trying to clean out what vision G2 have set up, along with put some pressure down. Caps, though, very aware of the positioning, and he looks to play safe. I think Shifters
Fiesta od game, čovječ.
They've got Anivia just trying to catch that top wave. This tower, though, the kind of long con after securing that mid tower, easily secured. That gold going to be fed into Rooster, who is now the key carry for Shifters. With Paduk and Nuke not too far behind their lane opponents. They're definitely still in very good spots themselves. BrokenBlade going to do what he can, but the tower advantage comfortably in Shifter's favor.
Akali, highest level in the game as well, at level 16, with 2 players with Rod of Ages. That is pretty impressive that he's ahead of both Caps and Nuke, who have those full 10 stacks. Will, of course, be able to get to level 20. Because he's a top laner, and apparently they just get free stuff. Yes, they have to get XP for it, but as a support, look, I'm just always tilted by the role quest, Betty. What do I get? A slot for my control wards.
You get an extra slot.
Oh, huge.
Wow.
Se žale supportovi. Supportovi su uvek žale, to smo naučili. Nuke je fajn, Trimbi više nije fajn, Trimbi je mnogo više skviši. I guess da G2 samo igra za Soul i ono kao gube 1000 golda, ali nema veze. Caps, pozicija. Ajoj, Caps. Oni gube ovo hard. No, Han samo može samo ovo da iznese. Ne, oni gube Drake-a, gube fight. No. Ne znam što je Caps uradio, iskreno, ovo je bilo malo kritično. Neću vas lagati. Mislim, Caps je step up-ovo, vjerojatno zašto ima Row i Seraphs, pa je bio u fazonu istenkovaću, ali teško u ovom delu partije.
To see the value of this Anivia, the zone control that she provides with both the ultimate and the wall. She's going to have to do the same thing here to stop G2 from approaching.
Hans trying to step up with 3 items again. A Glacial Storm into the wall. Valkyrie has to be used by Hans Summer, and he backs away after it. Lebrov's still looking for something here. There's a Realm Warp available for Caps, but they're not going to be able to get a range in time. Shifters will get the Baron 25 minutes in, a 3k gold lead, and the Baron buff for the next 3 minutes.
So remember that G2's very cautious of Rooster on the flank, but once G2 gets targeted, things kind of go into disarray. They immediately turn their attention onto the Akali, but a shield comes through, he goes into the arm guard, he comes very, very low, but they're not quite able to find that kill. Now the ulti from Anivia is thrown down, zoning the rest of G2 away. Nocturne ends up falling in the fight, and G2 can't really follow up once that initial pick has happened.
Samo Caps ne sme toliko da step upa I to je to.
They found their targets and they execute well, securing themselves not only their first dragon of the game, but the Baron to boot.
Shifters now in a commanding position in the game. 2 minutes left on this Baron buff. That's about 4 waves of pushing. A single cannon minion wave here in the mid lane with no real backup means that Shifters won't be able to take too much off this tier 2 for now. No one's answering BB pushing out bot side, so for all intents and purposes, it's a 2-way push. They'll take out some of the jungle camps. There's some wolves and a gromp to be stolen away, but really they're waiting to try and sync up top and mid. You can see Nuke pushing in that top side is a little later than mid lane.
Evo, sad će Shifters da pobede G2 I onda neće biti odlučena sudbina SK još I ako izgube danas.
Continues to put those crystallizers in advantageous positions. He's got a little bit of practice on the bird.
I mean, we're seeing, again, one of the reasons why I just kind of don't like Nocturne right now. Like, it's so hard for G2 to really engage into this comp, and obviously they're on the back foot right now, contesting against the Baron, but I think that last fight demonstrated that once that initial pick has been found, like, you're out of juice. Like, you just kind of run out unless BrokenBlade finds this crazy flank into flash, into ulti. It's very difficult for G2 to play, and the fact that Caps got caught, he got caught over a wall, which against most matchups you're thinking, hey, that's fine, but that's why Anivia is considered so good into Rise, because of how difficult she can make it for the Rise to play. So I do love the approach that Shifters had coming into this draft, and part of the reason as to why this Ezreal Karma is so feared around the world.
It's a solid draft overall. Ezreal Karma got themselves a little bit of a lead down towards the bottom side in the laning phase, but I have to give credit to Bukada and Rooster being able to come back from that early kill onto Rooster and then get the Akali in a position where really no one can match him effectively in a side lane. Right now he's in...
Iskreno, Babel, pa nemam, imaš previše dobrih knjiga, čoveče. Zavisi šta voliš. Zavisi šta voliš. Šta ti je interesantno, mislim da je baš teško izvući neku. Eventualno piti Klaru, ona čita mnogo više knjiga od mene. Ona je baš dosta I skoro čitala, tako da verovatno će ti ona preporučiti nešto bolje. Ja sam s 20 pročitao Clockwork Orange. Ne znam baš da li je to najbolja knjiga za čitanje sa bilo koga, ali vidi. Bila mi zanimljiva. Knjiga na engleskom gde koriste ruske reči. Pa bi bilo interesantno da ih juri. Ne piti. Koja će ti promeniti pogled na život. Ok, znači ne gledaš da se zabaviš, nego gledaš da ti improvuje Atomic Habits. Da, onda verovatno Atomic Habits. Nisam razumeo, mislim da kao u fazonu si kao knjiga, AORUS u fazonu otko znam imaš knjiga dobrih ko hoćeš, ali da, Atomic Habits verovatno je jedna od najboljih, da ja znam, self-improvement knjiga koje valja pročitati. Ok. I padak je mrtav. G2 ima dobre team fight, ima lepu sinergiju iskreno, tako da samo bolje fightaju. G2 samo bukvalno bolje fajta od Shiftersa. I to je to.
Without seeing any of the coordination that we've been seeing from them in this game. Look at Bukada's engage. Sure, the idea is good, but your Akali isn't here. Like, how is this trio going to follow up on this deep of a dive? Caps becomes the target on the other side, but he chunks out Trimby. And then now Nocturne is 1v3 on the back line. They're all terrified of him when I really don't think they need to be, but they're having to deal with this single member. Then the Akali arrives. Akali gets soloed because the rest of the team can't really offer any support. And then Padak is isolated. Like the coordination that we saw in the previous Dragon fight, in contrast to this fight, was night and day.
It was odd. And I mean, Striker's reaction says it all. Yeah, because it was good. until that moment, and that's kind of been the story of Shifters split, right? You're up a few thousand going into the 20-25 minute mark, and then you take a fight, and it...
Da, fajn su. Mislim, i kažem, i bolje fajtaju. Lepo su Shittersi draftovali. Eventualno Akali možda možemo napravi haos. Mada Sterak, Merks i Vicen teško će ubiti Gnara.
Looking for the season to this onto Hansama. Paranoia means that he's out of range, and with the tidal wave there for the follow-up, the damage is not going to be enough. Skewmon traded back as Rusa dives the backline, but now he's on the wrong side of 4 members of G2. A stopwatch, and he wishes he could stop, rewind, and take that play back as he goes down. 2 kills over to G2. Shifters do have good defense. Glacial Storm will hold the line for now. Baron up in 7 seconds though. BrokenBlade dives over the Crystallize into another Glacial Storm. Haddock trying to hit the Arcane Shift, the Mystic shots in fact, but can't land them.
Well, I feel like G2's wasting a lot of time trying to stay in mid.
They don't have a jungler.
But so like bot wave needs to be caught right now. Like they're better off just pushing out the waves, resetting, going to catch. Like Shifters is completely fine stalling them here because the longer they keep G2 here, the longer the deaths aren't punished.
True.
It ends up just being 2 kills for G2, which isn't that end of the world for Shifters. But a very heavy commitment here as Shifters, they think they found Hansama. The re-engage comes through from G2. The fear does connect.
Ko damage rade Vaj, ali to je fora Svaj. Što je bukvalno samo heroj koji je kreiran da bude setup. Jer je bruiser sa hard engage-om. Ne možeš se predomisliš na pola.
A good job killing Skewmon, right? Getting rid of the enemy jungler in that position is solid. Stops the Baron, but like he just dies for it because Shifters are tickling the rest of G2.
But this is what I mean by the realm warp being such the biggest difference, right? And so they try and force these fights in mid, and they don't respect Caps' ability to quickly collapse. And it ends up being these numbers advantage. Now G2 have the gold lead, which is very frustrating for Shifters because like you're in such a good spot. I feel like you have such a good comp. It's so difficult for G2 to find these engages, and you just make it easy for them as Nuke might now be targeted.
In. The rest of Shifters are here. Whoa. The jump across the wall with the blast cone. BrokenBlade going to get caught out by Rooster, who needs to get out of dodge, but
Skewmon je završio u Indoneziji. Ako mu skinu i Guardian, ne mogu Barona da igraju. A skinut ćemo Guardian. I G2 radi pametno hard pushom, idu u fazonu svako izgubimo Barona, uzit ćemo 2 inhibitora. Što mislim da je tačna odluka.
G2, I think, went way too deep on that play. Skewmon thought that he'd caught the Anivia out, but the Blast Cone, I think, was a big difference maker. The calm was probably Anivia for no flash, let's get that kill. But then Nuke was able to create enough space between Skewmon and BrokenBlade that he could then get the Blast Cone to safety, converting it into a pick. I thought Shifters would consider a Baron, but I guess they're a little bit afraid to start it with so many members of G2 still alive. They will end up losing that tower, as you highlighted. The game sort of resets to this neutral spot. It's likely that we're going to be playing for Soul soon. We'll look back at this again, and it's a very deep commitment, as we were talking about. Skewmon saying, hey, no flash on the Anivia, but the Anivia is able to get away to safety, good wall placement as well, and then Rooster arrives to threaten BrokenBlade and get him away from the fight.
I actually think part of it as well is BrokenBlade stopped Nuke's reset with the Boomerang.
Yeah.
So they probably assumed the rest of the Shifters were resetting at the same time. So it's a, hey, we've just got Nuke out by himself, everyone else is back in base.
No se opet ovdje ništa nije dogodilo. Uzeli su Guardian, ali to je jedino. I dalje su fine, skroz. Jer G2 dalje možda igra Soul. Nije im toliko dobar Soul, iskreno, ali...
Well, G2 actually don't have to engage with the Dragon at all. They could threaten the Baron. The question is, can they two-man it? It looks like they're thinking about it. I see the Nocturne, I see the Rise on the minimap.
Right, it's a 4-item Rise, right? It's Caps' Rise as well.
They're doing this.
That's going down pretty sharpish. Control ward down there as well as Hansama caught out a little bit. Nuke Hex, rocket belting forward. I made a new item there for a second. Paranoia out, and yeah, you can't collapse anymore. The Shifters, a good Baron take by G2. Shifters though will turn their attentions towards the Drake. Realm warming to top lane.
O, isto, pa G2 mnogo lepše igra mapu. Ko se vidi, čak i da nisu možda u formi i da rane malo grifu i dalje igraju jako pametno. Znali su da ovi moraju na Drake jer su ovi na Soul Poenu i da koriste Soul Poen kao thread, uzimaju druge objektive na mapi, što je jako pametno. Jer realno, njih ne zanima Soul. Soul je shit. Soli je shit, Soli je loš. Na Gnaru i na Ryze je okej. Jedina dva heroja na kojima je Sol ovdje, kažem opet, okej. Čak nije ni kao wow, jer ovaj Sol radi samo ako si ispod pola healtha. Ti ako si Korki ispod pola healtha, vidi. Ti si napravio grešku.
BrokenBlade, who was massively behind in this game, is within 400 gold again of this Akali, right? So the threat on a side lane of the Akali is not fully nullified, but it's much less scary than it was.
And the thing is, regardless of the comp, right? Even if I think shifters have a stronger comp and it's hard for G2 to play into, they're not even beating them through team fighting anymore. They're just playing better macro. And you know, back in the day, back when we were young, 2017, it used to be said that the cleanest and highest level of league is one where you win without killing your opponents. Right?
That's what the LCK used to do.
Yeah, it was just that macro masterclass.
But now, whatever G2 does is the second cleanest and second highest level of league, because they beat Genji and they beat BFX,
that's true,
you know?
That's true. Well, for viewers at home, we're going to ride that until it's dead. Like, just to be super clear.
We wrote 2019
it's been
for
7 years, okay? We're going to ride that until it's dead, okay? And you might think it's dead. Oh, you don't know.
No, it's never dead.
Okay, you don't know.
What is dead shall never die, Betty. Rise and rise again. And Caps' Rise doing a good job.
Beautiful transition.
Thank you. I do still worry.
Kapsi prefidan. Što znači 1-2 nije bitno. On je jedan item u full build. Kapsi u stvari giga jako ovaj game. Hanzi isto spajkovao koliko treba. Ryze je spajkovao koliko treba. Nocturne je full nebitan heroj. Rotaciju, čoveče. Ne, mislim, iskreno G2 nije igrao toliko dobro ovaj game, moram da priznam. Očekivao sam veći stomp od G2-a i raniji stomp. Shifteri su draftovali bolje nego što sam mislio. Opet nisam očekivao će znate šta rade ni u draftu. Tako da, dobar draft od Shiftersa. G2 koji je malo razočarao, ali dalje se vidi da u tom G2 i dalje postoje ne G2 koji očekujemo da vidimo. Znači, kakvi su im tradeovi, kakva im je kretnja na mapi, kad znaju šta trebaju da puste, i dalje definitivno vidimo da je G2 ozbiljna priča. Bubble ne znam koji su te, no ja koristim ovaj G Pro već, koliko ima, 2 godine, nisam ga menjao. Ne menjam ja toliko hardware, jedino što ja non stop menjam su podloge za miš. Hardware dok mi se ne pokvari ga ne menjam, manje više. Bukvalno, hardware mi je ono šta god koristim dok traje, kad se pokvari uzem novo i to je to. Nemam ono sad kao kolekciju miševa tastatura, mislim imam rezervne miševe tastature s igrom slučaja jer sam radio sa brandom, pa su mi ono dali malo više. Ali mimo toga da. Ništa, game broj 1, dosta je chill bila partija. Svako ćemo napraviti pauzu, mislim nekih 10 minuta pauza, tako da magnetske switcheve. Ajde, čini imali tu ima u Srbiji. Vidio sam ovaj Superlight 2, a ovo je negde preko, ne? Možda ću jednog dana probati. Ali da, ja koristim G Pro sve. S tim da Superlight znam izašla 2 s nekom novom tehnologijom, a se nisam možda puno baktao s tim jer kao nema potrebe. Koristim Kec, imam još i rezervnog jednog tastaturu, tako da ako nešto prsne to je to. Ljudi, odo i AFK neki minut da namestim traku, sredim sve ostalo i onda sam tu za game broj 2, tako da ostanite s nama za 8 minuta, se vraćam nazad.
What is this, brother? Perfection.
A new champion. Welcome to my shop. You'll need the right build. Choose wisely, because every upgrade brings you closer to the next level. So tell me, how will you level up?
he switching lanes?
Do you guys know like this song? Zamina mina waka waka Zamina mina zangalewa.
He's been struggling now. Hanson could be struggling.
Focus was off going down. It's just going to get the root. Doesn't have the mana for anything, and without barrier, just gets taken down in the 2v1.
Just end this shit game.
Oh shit. There's one.
Yeah, I'm meeting the Nexus zone.
Okay, is that done? Focus on it, focus on it.
And thank you, Skimon, for making us forget about this horrible throw once again from Shifters. I'm sad, man. Like, they had it all.
I'm mad.
They had it all.
I'm so mad. I
Calm
hate...
down, Jack, okay?
No, I will not calm down. I hate Shifters because I keep feeling like I want to sell this team. I'm hyped for them. I believe in them. It's like being a Fnatic fan.
Hold.
I can
Hold,
see...
hold,
no.
Jack, okay? Because we're gonna break down a little bit, okay? I'm not gonna break down. Let me break down something that happened this game, okay? Because early game...
We're gonna break it down later, though.
I'll break it down later.
No. I'm down on the crash out here because...
Okay, talk to me, Jack.
Finn, okay? This Shifters roster, it keeps getting winning lines against every team in the league. They 2v2 killed bot this game. We've seen Rooster have fantastic Jace performances. We've seen every single individual member do well. Yet they do the most terrible plays. Like, what? Show this mid lane play. Show me it. Like, how do you do this?
Okay,
this is such an easy
let me explain
game to
this, okay?
win.
So, mid-prio is important, we all agree. Prio. Here maybe Bukata goes a little bit deep.
Where's he going?
He goes a little bit deep, and Caps is maybe left a little bit unchecked, and maybe goes a little bit 1v9er, space gliding all over Shifters. But, come on, it wasn't all bad, right? Right?
I mean...
I have no words. It's just sad. Like, how does this happen? And I understand that when you're not used to being in a winning situation, usually it's hard to snowball those leads and disadvantage you get. But for me, it's more carelessness than, I don't know, fundamentals. I don't know what you think of this. I've never been in this situation. Surely you guys have.
I mean, look at that breakdown. It's like a Nami W going up and down, up and down, up and down. The gold was swinging constantly this game, and I'm not sure if it is, as you say, carelessness, hubris. It's difficult to know where exactly Shifters goes wrong because the early games are not bad. The early games really are not bad.
That's a low damage composition they have as well, and I do feel like once they start losing this way, guys, it's really hard to come back, and we see that G2 grab the Nasher, they get the ball rolling, and from that point onwards, that's what you mentioned, Jack. It's just really hard to match them on the side of the map.
I mean, you can tell that G2 is the better team because when G2 gets the lead, they just run away with the game, and they keep pushing you in and choking you out. And in this game, Shifters had the Nash as well, and it's like, yeah, you got some towers, but once G2 is the one in the driver's seat, it's so hard for Shifters to really find anything. And I also think that in general, like, Shifters just have this thing where if they feel pressure, their instinct is, we need to do the worst engage ever and lose faster. And it's just, it hurts.
I mean, I think the read that we have on Shifters that has been correct as shown by this game is that they are good individual players.
Yeah.
But the team play, the cohesion, the unity in this roster just seems to be severely lacking. I feel like this game just, they had it in their hands, but it just slipped out like sand. But I actually would like to talk a little bit about that early game.
Yeah, because we had one crash out about Shifters. I do want to talk about those early game mistakes from G2 because I've seen some individual things that should never happen that would tilt a top laner
so
even more.
I was watching this game, and I got deja vu. And then I was watching even more, and then I got double deja vu. Deja vu squared, or cubed, I'm not sure. I don't know math, clearly, after the pre-show. But I want to break down something that happened a little bit in the early game, because we had some interesting moments here by BB. So I want to bring you the first clip here. So Shifters, they're giving the Dragon bot side. They're deciding, okay, the Dragon, not for us. So I don't have any camp top side. I'm just going to sit here and camp BB. So, good play by Shifters. BB is pushing a wave, and just gets went on by Rooster and Bukada. And it's a clean kill. This is a mistake that anyone could make,
Can happen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can happen.
Can happen.
Anyone can do this mistake. BB, it happened to me many times. So, another clip here. GT is doing an objective, and BB decides to push a wave, and you see here, Bukada's actually snuck into this bush. And once again, BB is pushing a wave, Nocturne is doing the objective, and BB dies.
Wait,
It's a mistake. It can happen. It happened to me many times. It's
is that
normal.
another replay? Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Can happen.
So this can happen. It can happen. So here we see again, it's another play. GG is trying to set up topside here. You see Nocturne going for the Herald. BB is pushing out a wave, and he gets ganked by Rooster and Bukada. And I'm just gonna let the clip speak for itself. He dies.
I mean,
it can happen. It can happen to anyone. Fool me once,
Not.
shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, Jack Spectra.
my name's BB.
I guess so, yeah. It was a bit of a silly ordeal. I think BB maybe did not really respect the jungle as much as he should in that game. And it was honestly a good early game by Shifters. This Akali was up 1.7k gold at one point.
Yeah.
It looked like she was going to carry the game. But once again, when it comes to Shifters, it doesn't matter how nice your walls are, your ceiling, your little furniture, your little super sofa. Like, if the house is built on weird foundation, it will collapse.
I mean, you talk about deja vu, Finn, and just to give some insight to the viewer, as an analyst, we try to prepare what we want to talk about for a game, right? And there have been multiple times now where I'm watching a Shifters game, I'm preparing for the Shifters win. What do I want to talk about? How do I want to hype them up? And then they just find the way to throw it. And that, for me, is the number one thing that they need to work on, is just fix their macro. Put all the players together, same plan, same fights, and then you can actually win a game when you have huge lane leads. As you said, Rooster, 1.7k gold, bot lane, 2v2 kill. They have the pieces. Just put them together.
If you don't do it for the win, Shifters, do it for this guy. He is at his utmost limits. Let's send it over for game 2.
Look, I don't even think doing it for Jack Spectre will be enough. I'm going to be honest, this team so often gets 4k leads at the 20-minute mark and then just throws. There's something in the water in the Shifter's house that is leading to this. Could be leishmaniasis, could be giardia, could be anything. Who knows? Dysentery. It's possible.
Okay, I don't think any of those quite legitimate medical conditions are leading to this performance.
No, probably not.
I think that it's more to do with communication and coordination. I do feel that this team is just not on the same page. And yeah, sometimes I think they get a little over-eager. And I think that the problem Shifters now face is that regardless of whatever comp was stronger or weaker, G2 now get another opportunity. They get to run it back, and they get to learn from their failures. And when we saw them play against SK really made them work for it in Game 1, and then G2 just kind of clapped back in Game 2. And I worry for Shifters, now that we move into Game 2, how G2 will answer. We're going to be jumping straight into draft. It is G2 that get first pick once more.
Yeah, Shifters deciding they want second pick again. They'll be on the red side, and we will see G2 banning out the Nautilus. They're going to get rid of the Oriana on Shifters side. Varus again from G2. No surprises as of yet. You singing along to the music there?
Yeah, it is catchy, isn't it? What? Yunara Lulu, that's what I was thinking of. Oh, Seraphine Ash is also still
Seraphine
open.
Ash is open.
Yeah, normally in Game 2s, that's just where we see the Yunaras pop up. Normally they're even first picked. If you ban the Ash here, then Yunara just becomes mega heavy prio. LPL love first picking the Lulu instead, because they'll argue that, like, well, if you don't have something good to pair alongside the Yunara, then it's just not as scary.
That makes sense.
Whereas there are still a lot of good AD carries you can pair alongside a Lulu, like Caitlyn, for example. You can pick Kaiser. I don't think it's the best lane, but like you can put all sorts of things with a Lulu. So generally the Lulu first pick I think makes a ton of sense. And yeah, honestly there's not a lot of it you can answer into. We did see the Lucian Melio be successful, right? From Na'Vi, so maybe that's the answer to Lulu now. Maybe that buff was all Lucian needed.
Jack Spectre would tell you so.
Well, I do find that quite comical because I was literally a week before telling Jack they need to buff Lucian, and he said, and I quote, "Lucian doesn't need a buff." So quite the hypocrite we have on our hands.
No, because he's saying the buff was a big deal. So you can say he doesn't need a buff, and the buff can still be a big deal. He thinks Lucian is strong.
Why
and
are you
now
his
stronger.
lawyer now?
Well, because you know,
he can't defend himself.
Exactly.
You don't
Last
need to.
time he ran onto the caster desk to defend himself into Finn's mic, and it was a whole heated rivalry situation.
I did see that, yeah.
Lulu is the first pick. G2 learning from the LPL.
Seems like it.
If only they'd done it before first round finals, you know?
If only. Well, now for Shifters, usually you'll see something like the Yunara takeaway, just because we don't want you to have Yunara Lulu, and then they've got to figure out what to pair alongside it, which becomes the challenge. But there are still some decent supports that you can put alongside it if you want to. The Pantheon, we talked about it last game. I think it's really good. LCK absolutely loves this champion. Very flexible, good early skirmisher, global presence, very well-rounded, kind of fits into most comps. Some would argue that he kind of falls off later into the game, which I would say is largely true. Yeah. His single target focus means that when you get mega late, it becomes a little bit weaker. But there are plenty of ways to facilitate that. Ooh! Ooh!
No.
Ah, don't tease me, Trendy.
You were so happy for a second. Then we went to Jin, and then we went to Nico instead. And that's much more likely to be locked in. There it is, Nico for Shifters. What are they spelling? Because Bukado went through a bunch of champions. It was like Nunu, Nidalee.
Well, so, I mean, the Nunu is a Skumond classic. Sure. So I know that one. But the Nidalee...
But he also went through Kalista, Blitzcrank.
I think he was just flicking through the champs, bro.
Jin.
I don't think there's some deeper meaning.
Sometimes they try and spell things and I miss it and it makes me sad.
I mean, maybe. Our Twitter analyst will figure it out. It's all good. All right, Wukong plus Yunara? Yeah, Wukong plus Yunara.
Big shock.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I will say Yunara hasn't done that well in the LEC. You saw it pop up on the screen there. 5 and 14 across the LEC so far this split. So, I mean, I still think it's really good.
Well,
it still does a lot of work.
I will say that I don't think Yunara in isolation is that OP. I think it's the combination of Yunara Lulu that makes it strong. That's usually why you see it picked later in drafts, once things like Ezreal's gone and Varus and Ashe and all the other big hitters. Ooh, Jace for Rooster. Okay. I mean, this was something you talked about in the previous draft, which was very much that when he gets his hands on a champion like this, he definitely knows how to play it. Rooster is just a good laning top laner. Yeah. He knows how to build leads, and when he gets resources, he knows how to use leads. So putting him on a champion like this is always solid. I will say, though, that like when you're playing a champ like Jace top, I do think it requires an extra layer of coordination, because the expectation is that he's going to be where a lot of your gold is going early. Yeah. So we'll need to see how Shifters can find that mid-game coordination as we get into the game.
Also get rid of things like the Scion that can...
Ok, evo nas nazad, sve je namešteno, spremno da uživamo I da se... I da se šetamo po Western i fenomenalno sam Legend, kaže ide Lulu Rockable da može preultati. Bro, ali vidi, slažem se, nije da nije. Čak sam ja razmišljao na Ionari, znaš, da ne moram da ultam za dash, nego samo mogu bacim protobelt. Jer što bi morao, realno AP je varu sa protobeltom. Znaš, onda dash ultaš i iznenadiš protivnika. Sve to ima smisla.
Normally, if I see it, I could tell you who has prio, how things go.
Sure, yeah.
But in advance, no. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, things with mobility that can get onto Jace, generally good. Tanks also fine. Irelia is a good pick into Jace, absolutely. But I think Irelia is just a bad champ in pro play.
But maybe it's what BB needs. He's been struggling in lane, Betty. Give him the Irelia.
No,
Give him some confidence.
Put him on Cassante.
How's Camille into Jace? Good gap closer, probably doesn't have enough
sucks
damage.
Early, outscales later.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because Camille, like...
Imamo ovu tabelu otvorenu za svaki slučaj da mogu da pratim, ali... Dobro, ajmo da vidimo. Znači, s jedne strane imamo Junaru Lulu, klasičan kombo. S druge strane imamo Niko i... Šta? Oni pick AD carry ovdje, Caitlyn je off limits. Kajsa je... Biće hard out scalovan od strane Junare sa Lolo. To mi se ne sviđa. G2... Znaš sam razmišljao su mogli Malphite da uzmu. Realno? Dobro, ali ne, možda nisu mogli uzmu Malphite jer bi ovi uzeli na topu fazon Rambla, verovatno. Jer mislim njima treba potencijalno neki AP top laner. Nerfovat će Rocket Belt, ovo je Protobelt. To jest nije Protobelt, Rocket Belt je. Ja ga dalje zovem Protobelt jer je prošle sezone bio Protobelt. Što ima smisla jer je bio prototip Rocket Belta. A sad su ga kao doradili pa je sad kao full Rocket Belt, tako da to ima smisla, samo ne u mojoj glavi. Ruku na srce, ja i dalje, mislim ne ja, svi zovemo čizme Ninja Tabi, a ne Plated Steel Caps.
I do trust in Caps to find that angle and to make sure that when he lands that EQ with the electric Q proc, it's going to have impact. So we'll see how much impact he's able to have. The main damage dealers throughout this game are going to be Han Summer and Skumon for G2, with a lot of that utility and support coming through from the Lulu and Cassante. I think that G2's just team fighting is a little bit stronger overall, just because Skumon's engage is pretty reliable, and when you have the support of the Lulu as well, he can really tank up and be very durable. In contrast to Shifters, they've got a ton of poke on their side. Kai'Sa usually goes to these cross builds where she's got a bit of AP along with AD, so the W will start to hit later on into the game, but both Talia and Jace just very effective at providing that damage.
We did get a lot of damage on Shifter's side.
Yeah, they definitely do. We got a bit of insight from Jackie's a few weeks ago where I asked him like why isn't Talia being played, and he was basically like, well, the nerf to her Q doesn't feel that bad, but basically like because it's 5 damage every single Q, like it just adds up over time, especially when you're clearing waves. And so often you'll find yourself having to throw an extra Q, and like that extra delay can have an impact. And he's like, it just feels different and you can really feel it. So which is why a lot of pros have just kind of moved away from the Talia compared to how high priority she was earlier in the year.
But for Nuke, it is the only champion he's won on this split. We had the Ezreal Karma fail in game 1.
True.
Can Nuke's Talia be what brings Shifters their second win?
To be honest, mate, I don't think it's the picks.
Talija je užasna. I slažem se da nije, upravo je Caster, nisu pikovi. Prvi game su Shiftersi... Prvi game su Shiftersi toliko dobro draftovali. Jedino što kažem je bilo diskutabilno na Kali Ugnara, ali mislim ni to nije loš pik. To je diskutabilno meni zato što ja ne znam matchup. Mislim kao nisam nešto puno igrao top lane na Kali, niti sam igrao puno protiv top lane na Kali, iskreno. Ali kapiram da je okej Ugnara. Sve ostalo je bilo školski counterpick. Karma ti je uvek prio, Anivia u Ryze je counterpick, direktan. I kao vaje šta god, okej, kaj prio jungler je. Ovaj game mislim da je malo bolji za G2 u smislu drafta. A Kali je okej, da, ima smisla, gdje su ti? Tako da, ima mi to smisla. Ovaj game, mislim da je G2 prošao malkice bolje, u smislu, dobili su bolji botlane, jer Ashe Serafi nisu bili dostupni, a Caitlyn je bila banovana da ne igraju Kate Niko. Tako da G2 dobio bolji botlane. Aurora je fajn u Taliju. Mislim, Talija je uvek ok, ali Talija samo eliminiše bilo koji skill matchup. Ja više volim Vukog od Pantheon, iako je Pantheon bolji za early game. I na topu Xante će da preživi Jace-a. Jer ovo bi bio ili Jace ili Vayne na topu, zašto Rooster voli da cheese-a. Rađe bi imao da protivnik ima Jace-a nego Vayne, jer Jace fall off-uje, Vayne samo scale-a jako dobro. Iskreno, Salty malo umorno danas. Sinoć sam se komirao odmah nakon filma. Ustao sam ranije i onda smo Klara i ja šetali fazom 10 km, on 14.000 koraka sam prešao. Pošto je htjela da kupi neku knjigu, a istovremeno trebamo Luja da šetamo i plus mi je odmor od teretane danas. I onda sam bio u fazonu, rekao ajde, ako već imam vremena ne idem u džima, idemo po knjigu, rekao da šetamo Luja u istom. I onda smo se baš pošteno našetali. Video sam Salty, znaš šta je najjača stvar, to sam isto teo ti kažem, video sam na mnogo ovih, na mnogo klipova i shortova mi izlazio baš taj skup. Gledao sam šta mi izašlo, golf kako se trka protiv Tesle. I još neki, ja mislim da je Q8 bila protiv ne znam nija čega. Tako da mi izlazi baš dosta tih shortova sa tih trka, što mi je baš gotivno bilo. To mi je bilo baš cool. A mislim, i to čujem, zato što čujem ono kao evo nas u... I onda čujem Legendovo mesto, razumeš, sam u fazoru, pa Legend odatle. Da, izlazilo mi je... Da, nisam sad ja ne znam te što mi izlazilo Salty, ja nisam ispratio kao sad ko šta. Samo sam gledao ono kao trke i to. Gledao sam Golf dvojku, čekaj, da li je bila Tesla? Zaboravio se. Tesla protiv Q8, a Golf 2 protiv nečega, ili Golf 2 protiv Tesla. Ne mogu setim sad, ne znam. Ti izgore od vana. Ma bre, sunce je nerealno, hvala ti puno. Dobio sam kiwi. Kafu. 140 grama kivija. Sad ću da ispišem sve što sam jeo danas, tamo nim što sam radio skoro. Labrov je pauzirao, tako da tamo dok on to završi. Samo ti preko mene, ono lagana priča. 50 mleka. Ne znam, sad 31.5. Da zaokružimo. Nije valjda.
Kako sam uzela i sipala u vodi, tako sjeo ispod.
Lui... Da, inače Lui mnogo voli kiwi. Mleko, sorry, ja pišem kiwi ovde, Klaro, ne mogu sad to sve odjednom. In the early game especially, and so when your early skirmish doesn't quite go your way and the enemy jungler gets that kill, it just puts some of that early skirmishing in a slightly weaker state. Yeah, it does. And I also think Shifter's composition works so much better from ahead. Like, it's one of those comps where you can say, we'll try and scale, but if you're a couple of K behind and BrokenBlade is tanky enough just to stand in front of your poke damage, it doesn't really matter. Like, how do you actually kill people quickly? Čim se, ti tamo čekamo pauzicu.
Itemization in terms of we have had a report.
Da, znači sam ja imao, pošto je meni je bila retka kosa i onda pre nego što sam obrio glavu, bila mi je retka kosa i onda kad izgori mi glava, ali se ne vidi od kose da je izgorela. Tako da je to to je gotovo trenutak, tamo da pojedem kiwi dok je pauza. Onda da se mutam dok grizem. Da se ne čuje kako žvaće, mislim da to play.
and he points at a note in the notice board downstairs, and it just says left side of the building 20th, right side of the building 21st. And so my wife and I, we've waited in for the internet to get installed, and we got a letter that specifically said the 20th, and it's like, no, I'm afraid you're on the right side of the building. Wow. So I don't understand why the whole building, they finished at 2 as well. So they had 4 more hours in their day. I'm not, look, I am all for spreading the work out over 2 days if you're paid a day rate. Right. I'm 100% for that. If this goes on till midnight, you know I'm charging double. Okay?
Yeah, exactly,
like, right. I'm all for that. But I'd like my glass fiber internet, please, you know? That way I can in solo queue quicker.
So, that's an interesting topic about glass fiber, right? Because I've been having people come around my apartment trying to sell me on glass fiber for ages. But they keep trying to sell me on, like, we'll give you 100 meg of glass fiber. And I'm like, cool. I currently have, like, 1 terabyte. Like, I have, like you don't have a terabyte. Like 1,000 gig, that one.
Yes.
That's a terabyte, isn't it?
1,000 meg is what you probably have. You probably 1,000
1
gig.
You're probably right. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I scaled it up too much.
Yeah, I mean that is like I am in the Pentagon
right,
sort of level with internet.
Yeah. Not quite. Not quite for Berlin. No. But like it's not glass fiber. But like I'm pretty sure even at 500 meg down, it's still faster than 100 glass fiber.
Yeah, so the difference, I believe, and I'm not a networking expert, is consistency. So usually cable internet is much less consistent, and it's all kind of getting...
But what do you mean by consistent?
As in, if a lot of people use it, you get lower speeds.
Right.
Whereas glass fiber, even if there's a lot of... I don't know if you get a different cable or whatever.
But if my 500 goes down to 200...
Oh, no, you're still quicker. They're selling you a pipe dream here.
That's what I'm saying.
For us, we got a gig. And it's like...
That's nice.
It's like 800... No, so we got a gig from cable, and then they said, oh, we're going to come in, we can install glass fiber. And it's just
E tako, sad sam pojeo kiwi. Sad mogu da pričam.
1 gig goes down to like 800, 700 when things are busy. You know, and it's just the way of the world.
Braća pričaju o optičkom internetu. Što je fair.
Get a snack.
Come back in a minute. You know? We had to install a repeater in our house, and our house it's 80 square meters. It's not massive. It's not like it's multiple floors. Usually repeaters you do because you've got multiple floors or something. Yeah. But our walls are like concrete, and so I'm on like the router is on my wife's office room, and my office room is just through the wall. No. And I'm like, no, we need a repeater, otherwise I'm not getting signal.
My box is in the living room, and you have to like you see my apartment.
Nemamo info šta se događa sa pauzom.
My living room and my bedroom, and my phone struggles.
Gde si, Bojane? Ma lagano. Gle, ja sam tu svako prenesem LEC za naše ono govorno područje, što bi se reklo. Tako da kad god imate vremena, tu smo. I konačno su krenule bitnije partije u LEC-u, da nije samo da igraju Praznović kao... Spajkovo im je ping. Mislim da je server u podrumu Riotove kancelarije. Kao bukvalno mislim da je Riotov server u podrumu kancelarije. Okay. Ajmo Dimo, Bogi, kako si dobar? Šta ima, šta se radi? Oni što način stvarno ne trolaju kasteri. Legitimno igraju na 2 pinga. Neke stvari koje vidite, ako malo više obrtite pažnju, mnogo je teže uraditi, skoro je nemoguće uraditi na pravom serveru. Kao na Vestu. Igrate s 30 pinga, oni igraju s 2 pinga. Italija Pantano što uvek radi, što kažu.
But they took advantage of the fact that Caps did use his flash in the previous skirmish on the bot side river, which meant that, I mean, easy gank, easy play, and an easy kill secured for Bukada. He's still behind in goal.
Ovo je dobar trade jako za G2.
Quite surprising actually, but...
Jer se Pedak rikolova i Labrov se rikolova. Uvek hoćete vam AD carry ostane u laneu da možda farmuje. Tako da skroz fine za... Zašto je Trim pristao da igra za shifterse, to je downgrade. Pa mislim, igraju u Brazilu pre toga, sad, znaš. Jedina da kažeš kao dobra stvar Brazila je to što jako lako odeš na Worlds. Na MSI, na Worlds, na sve. Znaš, postoji solidna šansa se Trimbi tamo nije dogovorio. Ko zna zašto? Mislim, možda mu se nije živjelo više u Brazilu. Nemam pojma, ne znam. Ali postoji šansa se nije dogovorio sa Brazilcima. I onda se vraća se kući, očigledno, pošto je Poljak, vrati se u Evropu. I onda ovdje samo nije imao dobru ponudu jer je s nekim ekipama ostao malo lošijim uslovima, tako da nije kao da znaš, nije kao da je nešto imao puno izbora. Dobro, radim, još malo sam ušću pomenjao, a či, da ideš posle? Ti na sve stane. Kod mene, ja lagan, malo na nekom katu, pa malo više hodam ovih dana. Radno, baš dosta, pošto radim LEC 3 dana nedeljno, EBL 3 dana nedeljno i onda imam 1 dan nedeljno pauze, ali recimo sljedeće nedelje neću uopšte. Sad radim tipa 15 dana za redom. Jer onaj tamo utorak, ili sljedeće nedelje. Znam da jedan utorak koji mi je slobodan, taj dan EBL se pomerio na taj dan da bi stigo sve ostalo da uradim. I onda ću bukvalno imati 15 dana kasta za redom. Tako da, puno se kastuje, ali mimo toga... Mislim, i sad tim je realno chill, klasična priča. Vračke ti giftovo, ali je dobra šansa da Vračke nije tu. Vračke nam je... On isto baš puno radi sad, baš grinda. I onda... Nema ga uvek na streamu, dođe obično posle kad završi posao i to. Tako da, Vračke ti je rare spawn na streamu ovih dana, jer baš je i on puno zauzet. Vidio sam ga skoro, mislim, prošli mes smo se nešto vidjeli, mrž da mu odnesemo, bio je blizu, ali baš i on puno radi, pa ga nema toliko na live. Ovako došao, banuo, dropovo Patreon, pozdravio ljudi i kapiram, iskulirao, malo je lago spava. Jer tako to bude, generalno što se tiče ono kao ljudi, mi smo svi tu u decembru, znaš kao, realno gledano, svi su tu u decembru, tokom godine ljudi ono dolaze, prolaze, ko je tu, ko nije ima ekipe koja je uvek tu, naravno, ali kako se zove, ima ekipe koje je uvek tu, ali generalno ima ono ljudi koji od polovine januara pa onda do tamo decembra ih obično nema toliko, zbog posla, zbog svega. A gde se mrdaš, šta radiš? Aha, ne, to, šalji obavezno, šalji... Šalji, gde si? Da znamo. Da, grad dobio pola dosta zbog gluposti. Dobro, vidiš ulti, to je ono... Bolje da imaš više ponuda nego da nemaš ponude, realno. Onda poslije možda biraš gde ćeš. Znaš, možda biraš gde ćeš. Ti si Kevine uvek tu, ali to je okej, vidi, to je... Tako treba biti. Si nije kod imaš ključ da pobegneš, tako da... Tako to treba da funkcioniše. Danas sam napravio 10.415 svaka čast, brate. Danas i ja sam isto se našetao dosta. Danas mi je plan bar 20.000 da... Mislim kao radim lec pa sam kući pošto ne bih hodao. Nije kao da sad nešto se pretrano umaram dok hodam, ovako, pogotovo ako sporo dok idem. Mada sam dosta sam već prešao, tako da imam 14.400 već. Tako da, eto šta, još 6.000, malo manje, 5.500. Brzo će to da se proći. Ranger, brat moj, to ti kažem, tako da ona. Koje kažem Simon, znaš, realno bez opterećenja. Kad možete se vratiti, javite se, recite što ima. Ja sam stvarno tu kogod mogu da budem. I... Stavi sam fireball. Dobar ult. Ali mora, fora je što u tom matchupu Xante mora da W knockback od Jace-a. To je fora. Da poslu peđem 15k, to je baš insane, brate. To je, dobro, zato si ti ono... Zato ti ne možeš se umoriš kad fudbal igraš, ti kondicija na životnom nivou. Ne znam koliko je 15 km koraka, baš me zanima. Mislim da to sad zavisi od osobe do osobe, ali... Ja sam sad prešao 15.000 koraka, 11 km. Što ti pređeš šta, 8? A? Ali evo, piše mi. Šta, oko 20... 15 km oko 20.000 koraka. Za smenu pređe čovjek, svaka mu čast iskreno. Iskreno svaka čast. Dobro, Boki on nije vitak, on nemoj naš ono. Mislim, zato jeste u formi, zašto hoda. Ne znam. Znaš možda Boki koliko kalorija jedeš dnevno? Dobro, ali vidi, do duše on je niži, tako da to ti je faktor. Tako da njemu ni ne treba kao toliko kalorija. Nemam pojem, Boki, nemam pojem. Gledaj što je problem meni je problem vreme. Što ja nemam vreme, ja sam doomed. Jer meni je tako sve napravljeno da kao, slobodan vikend kad vidim, jer je let svaki vikend manje više. I onda EBL, i onda LEC, i onda First End, onda EBL LEC MSI, EBL LEC Worlds. I onda meni su svi slobodni, kao sav slobodan period mi je od 15. novembra do 15. januara. Kao ta 2 mjeseca su mi u godini slobodno. Ako nešto ne iskrsne snimanje, neka glupo šta god. Mimo toga, premije ako vežem nekoliko dana. Ja sam posle dužeg odmaranja napravio 15k koraka, odmah setio da me bole kukovi, zato duže nisam šetao. Ima se kupi ta mašina za koju koliko košta. Početnik obično odeš na e-ponudu, to ti je sajt koji koristiš za upoređivanje cena, i onda ukucaš tamo traka za hodanje i čekaš da neka bude na 50% popusta. To ti je moj savjet. Nema razloga da daš punu cijenu za ovu traku. Ova traka koštala je 50.000, mislim puna cijena je bila 50.000, ja sam platio 25, znači 230 evra, za novu traku s garancijom. A uvek bude neka na 50% popusta. Nema tu ni model, ništa, sve je to kinesko, nije to ništa sad kao ne znam šta traka treba da ide 6 na sat. A nikad neće ni hodati 6 na sat jer je prebrzo za ovu traku. 600k mesečno, kao nemam pojma, kad sam gladan, neka više neka... Dobro, da, ne možeš ako nisi nikad izbrojao... Ne znam, meni je Ja sad druga... Ko se sjeća sa trova, Klisura se zvao na trovu. S njim sam baš pred neki dan pričao, kaže čovjek jedem 4000 kalorija dnevno, ja rekao, brate mili da sam na tvom mjestu. Ali on hoće da se goji i plus je... Sad nemam pojma, viši od mene za tipa bar 10 cm, recimo da je viši od mene. Otprilike, bar im tipa 1,90 m. I hoće da se goji. Jede 4000 dnevno. Ja rekao, brate mili, koliko bi ja volio da isto tako mogu da jedem. A ja Soma i 800, držim se. Gori se i bit će bolje. Stanem strake dok pijem kafu da se ne ispolivam. Ne pa početnik. Ime na umu također da ti treba, mislim da zavisi. Staviš traku ispred televizora pa gledaš TV dok hodaš i onda ne osjetiš korake, to ti je fora. Drugi savjet je uvijek da se nekako animiraš dok si na traci. Ili uzmi knjigu, čitaj ili uzmi, ne znam, pusti nešto na TV-u, nek vozi. Ali kao, znaš, zato ja najviše hodam dok radim lec, jer mi je zanimljivo, gledam šta se događa, ćaskam s vama i onda pored toga navijam korak, i onda ne osjetim da hodam, znaš. Ovako da samo hodam, recimo u teretani baš malo koristim kardio mašine, skoro nikad, jer je dosadno. Što ću raditi tamo? Kao gledaš kroz prozor, gledaš u zid i kao i hodaš. Realno smara. Ovako ako se nešto događa, znaš, ja znam po 4-5 sati da budem na traci i da ne osjetim. Idem jako sporo, ali bukvalno 4-5 sati budem na traci. Ili okej, evo recimo Boki kad radi on hoda, ali opet ne opterećuje se s koracima, samo to mu je deo posla da se hoda tamo vamo non stop. I onda ne osjetiš toliko korake u smislu kao koliko bi ti bilo teško da kao izađi i hodi u teretanu, stane na traku i hodi 15-20k. Smorio bi se živ. Čak i muzika i ne znam ja šta je, to je okej. Jednom, 2 put. Nakon mjesec dana ćeš čuti sve pesme ovoga sveta. Da te smori muzika da slušaš. Bar i meni tako, pojem. Čast izuzecima, ljudi koji vole ono trčanje, hodanje. I kao okej, ima ljudi koji legitimno kao trče jer vole da trče, što ja iskreno ne razumem, ali vidi okej, brat. Ima ljudi koji legitimno vole da trče. Moram te, ne čujem te, kaži. Ne znam čovjek koji šeta. Ne znam. Ne znam. 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 Pa izgleda kao da voli trči. On je onako visoki mršan. Da, višak. Uz anime filmove serije prostavljam da je super stvar. Apsolutno, apsolutno. Ja sam ceo Black Clover pogledao na traci. 160 nešto epizoda sam pogledao na traci. Čak sam tad sam imao sam drugu traku, veću traku, išao sam uzbrdo i brže. I onda sam imao, znaš ono, 2 epizode mi je trajao kardio. I taman se ograničim, znaš, pogledam 2, i onda nekad recimo mi se dovoljno tako da sam neki drugi anime gledao. Bio sam u fazonu blame na traci dok gledam. I onda pogledam epizodu i epizoda te ostavi na cliffhangeru i ti si u fazonu ja moram šta se desi dalje. I onda samo ostanem na traci i pogledam još jednu epizodu. I poslije te budem opet u fazoru, au brate, ne mogu vjerovati se ovo dogoditi, još jedno pogledam. I tako na kraju samo zabodnem se na traci, ono, sat i po vremena, teo sam pola sata budem na traci jer me zanima što se desi u sljedećoj epizodi. Tako da generalno filmovi, serije, anime, odlična stvar. Ništa način možda tempiraš, mislim, možda hodaš 15 minuta, ako hoćeš i ako te nešto boli ili što god siđeš trake. Ne bi trebalo na traci ti generalno najlakše hodaš. Nemaš uzbor, nemaš ništa, samo ideš. Ali ono, znaš, ako ti treba pauza, ja recimo ne hodam sad kad se završi ovaj game, ja ću da ugasim kameru, sešću na stolicu, ili ću sa blame negdje drugog, neću hodati na pauzi recimo, mogu pauzu iskoristim da pauziram. To je isto okej. Vidite me, Klara, da me bole pločice. Boli me stomak, da. Malo, da. Da? Fair. Upaljem je malo stomak, da? A nije sad kao upaljen da ne mogu. Nego boli me dole ovako iz nekog razloga. Donji deo stomaka. Što obično nije toliko upaljeno, ali dobro, bože moj. Sutra nogi u teretanju. Ja, nogi u teretaniji. Ne znam, krskavica ti loša. Čekaj, stani trimi da promaši ulti. Ok, možete pogoditi Auroru na pola deša. U stvari dobro, što ne bi ni mogli. Njen ulti je realno deša. Legend Protobalt, ništa. Zaboravite se mi što rekao. Dobro, vidi, znaš, nekad s vremena na vreme, što znači, bok i meni je slatko problem. Meni je isto slatko, znači, to može Klara da potvrdi, ja sam ono, ja mogu, ono što recimo njoj je bukvalno preslatko da ne može da pogleda, ja sam u fazonu taman. Zato sam mogao pojedem pola kila ovoga. Meni je, da, viš, ja se ne slanam. Ja sam u fazonu, što tiče slanog, okej sam da cijel život jedem pilinači jaja. Kao to je skroz okej. Ali zato bi pojeo, ja mislim, 1,5 kg palačinaka, ono sa 6 različitih filova svaki dan. Nije sad nužno idem raditi neke food challenge, ali kao, pa da i to ne bi bilo, to je bilo zabavno. Ja mislim ne bi mogao pojedem nijedan food challenge ne bi odradio, ali kao tipa slatkog food challenge, ali da nije toliko količinski, jer to je kao malo previše količinski. Znaš se ovo radi mnogi u teretanji dok sam trenirao i ful bio mlad. Ja sam imao sam svoje ono, svoje sezone, šta mi se radilo. Sad najviše volim da radim triceps i grudi, jer to je, u stvari sad najmanje volim radim noge. Jer se tu najlakše povredim, sad sam mator, znaš. I onda sad volim da radim najviše ono što me najmanje povređuje. Znaš, u mojim godinama zglobovi hrskavice nije isto ko što je bilo. I onda, znaš, neki teži čučanj, sve to rizično u mojim godinama. Gde kap živ. Jeste živi. Blokada mrtav, Han sama gdje ode. I Labrov uze kill. Ne, ja sam sam u fazonu ako imaš šećer, dobro je. Ne moram više šećer, mogu med kašikom da jedim, to mi je fajn, iskreno ne bunim se. Samo da je slatko. Bukvalno dok je slatko ja sam dobar. I to govorim ko neko ko je na soma 800 kalorija dnevno i katujem, ali da se kalorije ne broje, kako bi to lepo bilo. Bio bi najnepucaniji lik ikada. Vidi, ako ništa, ono što je dosta cool, što smo Klara i ja sinoć zvanično otvorili sezonu sladoleda, u smislu napravili smo sladoled za Ninja Krimi. Tako da danas se jede sladoled proteinski. On nije sad nešto sladak, ali mom ono... Dobro to, pa stavilo si ono vanila zero. Imaš ti Klaro preliv za sladoled? Samo ja neću ga koristim, ali bijela čokolada, malina, onaj preliv imaš. Znaš ako to sam planirao tebi da stavim. Preko tu i to je to. Tako da večeras lagani proteinski sladoled da se testira i da se otvori sezona. Dobro? Bolje. Ima. Istina. Znaš što mi najveće, svaki put ovako streamujem, moram streamujem na TikToku i na YouTubeu, bar jedna osoba nova će me pitati zašto nosim minjušu ili od kad ima minjušu. Zbog ovoga. Najzdraviji, da, imamo onaj Ninja Krimi, onaj aparat za pravljenje sladoleda i kao legitimno napraviš, ono, staviš bukvalno vej, mleko, je baza i onda staviš vodu da dopuniš koliko treba i onda možeš ti još da dodaješ stvari ako hoćeš, tipa mi stavimo ksantam ili guar gumu za konsistenciju da bude malo onako kremastiji i onda možeš se tu sad ti izvodiš, možda ubacuješ ti neko voće, možda ubacuješ ono, možda umeš 2-3 ona keksa, digestive keksa pa da ih izlomiš, staviš da bude crunchy, možda ti radiš milion stvari, s milion recepata, ali kao baza je vej, mleko i voda. Što isto kao da popiješ proteinski šejk. Samo ga zamrzneš, rokneš ga u krimi i onda umjesto proteinskog šejka ti jedeš sladoled. I što je najčešće stvarno ti mnogo više zasiti. I plus pošto je sladoled pa ne možeš baš da ga ono šotaš. Kad ti proteinski šejk možeš popiješ 300 ml ko ništa, ono samo iz cuga. Sladoled baš ne možeš jer hladno. I onda te u stvari i zasiti, a opet nisi nešto sad kao prejeo, da kaže si pojeo ne znam ja koliko kalorija. Tako da to je jako dobar lifehack za katovanje. Da, zbog ovog, zašto obično kad pričam i sa Klarom i kad streamujem, onda ovo okačim ovde, jer ne želim da mi se dole ono, da mi kabel visi, da ne bi zeznuo sluške, jer su mi dobre, sviđaju mi se mnogo ove slušalice, pa ne bi da ih pokvarim. I onda ili da ih držim na stolu, ali mogu da padnu dok hodam, ili da ih držim da ih pustim da vise samo, što mislim da nije najbolje za kabel. Ne, nego razumeš, ako stavim ovako, onda će opterećenje da bude na ovome. A ta konekcija, to nije baš najbolje. Mislim ne na ovima, na nijednima. Tako da zato zakačim, nije konekcija i ovde nije najbolja.
Kao što sam rekla,
umoči ih u vodu. Ajmo G2 dobio fight. Skumond, dobro. I sad je ultao i onda ima W preko i ulta opet da iznervira blokadu, mu cancela Q. I Bibi umre. I Bibi ne umre. On ima flash, a što nije flashovo odmah? Upalio W da ga... Sad će Labrov da umre. G2 troluje. Znači, umjesto samo da insta flashao preko Talija zida, on je stao u ćošak, upalio je W, pustio da ga Talija uspori i onda se flashovao dok je bio usporen. Eto, rank 1 igrač. Mislim da je on sad rank 1 što je najveći. Gledao sam nešto malo na Twitteru da se Velja i onaj Sejan, ili kako se već zove, liko je isto kao u top 3. Velja i on se žale kako dobijaju plus 10 minus 30, a Skewmond dobija ono plus 30 minus 20 faza. Samo je trebao instant flasha, Bibi. Bukvalno je zagridovo za džabe. Tako da, malo greedy od Bibija, može ga košta.
At the end of it, and Grand Starfall coming in is always just going to close off that gap. Rooster did use his flash in that last fight. Gold basically even between the two teams now. The difference, once again, Rooster and Skewmond are the guys with the money bags in their pockets. Very much the Scrooge McDucks of this game, especially Rooster. Oh, Malard, he is so strong on this Jace right now as he goes for the accelerated shot blast onto Lebrov. His flash is about to come off cooldown. Doesn't need the protection of BrokenBlade, but Shifters just trying to get a little bit of control for their own in this blue side jungle. I like how Bukata's just walking in with...
Neće G2 da igra koji prošli game, da probaju samo da vinaju soul fight. Duš, ovaj put im je soul fight dosta bitniji nego prošli put je bio camping, što je malo... Malo je li loše i soul sa Infernalom je giga dobro. Šta mislim o Velji? Mislim da je Velja doca. I mislim da lagano, pošto me dosta ljudi pita kao da li mislim da može da igra lec, mislim lagano može da igra lec. Ali mislim da također treba da odluči pametno gde će otići kad bude ušao u lec. Ako želi. Jer je pitanje da li želi da igra lec ili ne. Mislim, ne znam sad koliko uče ljudi na Twitchu, ali fora je što realno ja mislim da je bolje da streamuješ za tipa 2-3 hiljade ljudi na Twitchu nego da igraš u zadnji lec ekipi. To je moje mišljenje. U teoriji možeš oba, samo što je to baš teško i opet. Ono. Nijedan lec igrač nije redovan streamer, jer između igranja leca, praca sa ekipom i sve to, još i da streamuješ ne bi vremena ni za što. Tako da, a opet kad pogledaš recimo, ne znam, Shifters i šta god, ako uletiš, odigraš jedan loš split, koliko bi recimo nakon recimo 0-9 Shifter splita hteo G2 da te zove. Znaš, dajem ti primjer. A realno šansa da je ovako samo streamuješ i onda čekaš poziv od G2 dok se nabadaš s Skewmondom za rank 1, mnogo veća šansa da te pozove recimo G2 i da te pozove neka ekipa koja će ući u playoff bar. Ne mislim da sam mora da igra nešto će ući ono u top 2. Ne mora top 2. Ali ono, znaš, bar playoff. Što je 6 od 10. Znači kao nije ono, to je samo da budeš sa boljim ekipama. Shifters down towards the bottom side. They have that one control ward and then one on the Phaelite. Only a little pocket of vision for G2 as well. Cap's very close to his Rabadon's death cap. We'll really want that before the next fight. But you can see he has to be tentative about stepping up for that wave. Doesn't have enough vision in that Shifter's jungle or even in the river to know if he can step up. It looks like he doesn't have it yet. Otherwise you have to expect he'd be... Da, ne grešiš uopšte. Ne grešiš uopšte. G2 treba im nov top laner. Mi smo mislili, da baš smo pričali o tome prošle da Nak bi bio dobar top laner za G2. Nak bi bio dobar top laner za G2. Iskreno, Labrov je isto klimov. Skewmond mislim nema dovoljno širok champion pool. Igra jako dobro kad igra njegove heroje. Ali čim proba nešto malo drugačije, čim izvuče recimo, ne znam, šta je sad skoro igrao Skarnera pa je G2 izgubio. Jednostavno, znaš, ako je u comfort zoni, Skewmond dobar je. Ako nije u comfort zoni, mislim što je kao... Znaš, s druge strane i logično, mislim, to sad kao u teoriji možeš kažeš o svima. Tipa ono, Velja će igrati mnogo bolje kad igra agresivne džanglere da možda i vidi da se bije, nego kad treba da igra util za tim. Ali opet, ne znam, s Human mi neko ne radi ništa spet, samo igra solidno meta džanglere. Ovo je samo free win. I ovaj put kažem idu na sol, zašto znaju da je sol bitniji nego prošli game i ovo je samo 0-4 shifters. I ništa ljudi, gledajte sad ovo. Znači sad je situacija sljedeća. Sa ovom pobedom ekipe G2-a SK ne smije da izgubiti KC-a. Znači ja mislim da sad matematički nisam pogrešio. SK ne smije da izgubi od KC-a. Jer ako SK izgubi od KC-a, oni će biti 2-6. Ali su izgubili i od G2-a, izgubili su i od KC-a i od Movistar Koja. Što znači da ako sljedeću seriju koju gledamo nakon ove, ekipa SK izgubi game, oni su ispali iz ovog splita leca. I ne znam šta će SK raditi, ali jako veliko razočarenje, mislim, s njihove strane da odu 2-6 ovako rano i da budu eliminisani. Tako da, što je način meni samo krivo zbog Jope, ništa drugo. Mislim kao, realno lider, Wunder, Miki su već zreli za penziju, za skin za me bole uvo. Samo mi je to krivo što mali Jopa mislim da je toliko lepo igrao. Sam govorim kod je u penziju otišao. Mislim da toliko lepo igra i mislim da je jako velika šteta što neće imati priliku malo više se pokaže. Okej, Caps stylu nad njim. Pokaži mu ko je čale igrice. Kaže, Baus Kedili sastavlja Rostone sve 2. Okej, a ko je, mislim kao, da li će biti neke razlike između Lost Rostone sa V1, pošto... Ima flash, ali je mrtav. Mislim, ne vidim šta bi menjali u Lost Rostonesima, ne? Kapiram da će Baus biti tu, rekli će biti tu, oni su giga dobri. Velja, ne vidim što bi odbio to. Šta bi onda menjali? Nemesi se, ne već šta, Crownija možda jedino? Ali opet ne znam da li ima neki fan AD carry da se uklopi u cijelu tu priču. Pa dobro, onaj Sen što je rank 1, on je AD carry, mislim. Realno. Ne znam li ima neki streamer, da neka ličnost da je giga fan. Mislim, ja očigledno bi trebao da igram za njih, ali mimo toga... mislim, to je fora, zavisi šta će Rio da radi, iskreno. Sad je baš je mnogo pritiska na Riotu. Zašto je G2? Zašto je Skewman to je? Mislim, igraju protiv Shiftersa koji su 0-3 i treba im po 35-40 minuta da vineju game. Ovo je moralo bude 2 stompa po 20 minuta, iskreno. Realno da. Dobro, ne, ali mislim bi Baus igrao, ako se Baus igra, mislim bi Baus igrao. Jer Baus je jako dobar s Kedrilom, jako dobar s Recklessom. Tako da mislim da to ne bi menjali. Unibe legendu. Gdje si, brate moj? Inače si mi beše pustio poruku na Instant. Govorio, svaki ti čas ako jesi. Mislim da si ti pustio. Sad sam 16.181. Pa bio sam upoznao pređem 20k danas, nemam pojem. Oko 20k mi je okvirno bilo. Možda ću i malo više, ali vidjet ću kakav bude dan. Jer realno šta, sad sam na 16k, ja sam da kažeš da hodam unazad, preću 2k po game. I hodat ću sigurno još 2 partije, tako da... Baus Merić. Mislim, šta znam. Mnogo je zabavan Baus, brate. Realno je mnogo zabavan. Mislim da je Baus bio baš dobar deo, ono... čari za Ratones. Realno nek nakon ide u G2. Muribe, svaka ti čast, brate moj. Brat moj izgledao jako s koracima. Ajmo lagana šetnica. Bez, ono... nekog većeg stresa, ništa, samo, brate, lagano. Opa, i to je to. Static shiv APK Isa. Oni će izgubiti. Oni će izgubiti. Neće izgubiti i dalje, samo su malo izgrifovali. Ali APK se ih malo dumpsteruje, iskreno. Pogodio je W opet. Samo što ima ovih Sindera ako ko će, pa možda Mema Kingston je mrtav. Yep. G2, šta radite? Ne bi, u 3 života G2 ne smije gubio ovaj fight. Znači, Bibi je prvo odlučio da izinta. I onda šta je provan? Labrov je bacio njegov ulti na Bibi i onda je Bibi umro svejedno. Padak je jako lepo odigrao. I onda nakon toga samo flash combo na Lulu. I sad pogledaš Han Samu koji nema ništa. Znači, Junara koji ima Lulu, a nema Lulu zašto je Lulu sve bacila na sebe i na tanka. Mislim, za ovo je da se razumemo kriv BrokenBlade, ali... Bro, šta simple mispositioning, uzeli su inhib na midu, inhib na botu i Bibi uleće njihovo u top džunglu, umjesto samo dodu na... Ne vidite me miš da vam pokažem, ali samo gore da odeš. I pušaš top kroz lane i ne mogu te uhvati nikada. Kao to je to. Jako čudno. I ništa, sad se tuku i to je to. Šta će? I dalje su jači samo Bibi da ne izinta i mislim da su lagani.
Yeah, but I feel like they're spawning him out. They've got good awareness of him trying to find the flank. Unsama are going to heal up a bit on the Elder. They really don't want to turn this into a 50-50. Like, G2's best play is to not really do anything. Yeah, just wait. Yeah, you just wait for the super minions.
Tako je. Bravo, Kasteri. Viš ako Kasteri znaju šta treba da se radi. Čekajte mid lane. Eventualno Caps ima ćoša gde izleće iza ugla i šota Taliju. Čak i kroz ovaj Seravs. I moraju se paze Kajse koje ih jako poliva. Kajse ima puno AP-a sad. Tako da to je dosta bitna stvar.
Yeah, Rooster can clear out this way, but Accelerated Shock Blast will do a bunch of damage. Meanwhile, in the top side, they're losing an inhibitor tower. That's G2 who've lost their first inhib tower of the game. Poke continuing to land. Trimby looking for a flank position here. Has a blast going for the Pop Blossom. Skewmon on the Drake. It's down to...
Uf, Labrove. Pa mislim da je ovo loše ako flipaju. A flipovaće. Koliko ne volim flipove u competitive game-u i ne mogu vam opišem. Ovo je 50-50, mislim, ok, dobio je Skewmon, da ovo su mogli da izgube game ovde. Mislim, pobedit će sada da su dobili Eldera, ali... Da je Elder s druge strane, ekipa Shifter za win fight ovde. Ok, game serija, samo što i dalje mislim da je bilo loše. Ja sam strogo kritičan što se tiče ovih gameova, ali kao, brate, flip gde ti vodiš ovoliko sa 4 infernala. Yes. Samo da je otišao s druge strane, brate, yes. Pogledajte top wave, Shiftersi završavaju game tu. Pantheon, ult, Talija, TP, Shiftersi kroz top završavaju game. G2 je jako lako mogu da izgubi ovaj game. Možda ne seriju, ali game. Ništa ljudi, to je to onda. Znači imamo još jednu seriju danas. Gledamo SK i KC i kao što sam napomenuo, ako ekipa SK izgubi, a KC je neporažen trenutno, imaju 2-0, nisu puno igrali. Ekipa SK ispada iz trke za playoff, što bi kažem bila jako velika šteta za našeg Jopu. Tako da, pravimo pauzicu, pauzica će biti nekih 10 minuta i za 10 minuta se vidimo u drugoj seriji dana.
I do feel like that Skewmon is probably going to take it. I have a feeling.
He often does when he has performances like this.
But yeah, for Shifters, it's a situation where we're still seeing some of those coordination issues come through. Game 2, I mean, they fell behind. They were able to punish a lot of the mistakes that we saw from G2, which was good. But then they could never really convert it into a victory when it came to these team fights. And functionally, like, I think it's pretty clear at this point that this team, I don't think hands is really the problem. No. Mechanically, they're good players, but they're just not quite finding that synergy.
Yeah, the mid-game macro just doesn't seem to be working for them. We're going to hand it over to the Analyst desk, who are sitting by with a BrokenBlade. I love it.
Love it. Thank you guys. Although it's not the Analyst desk, it's the second episode of BrokenBlade's podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you very much with new guests as well here.
I'm very excited to be here actually. I've always wanted to be on the podcast with you. Actually, I feel like we can talk about a little bit of top lane here.
I think we have a good connection here. not so much with the AD carry, but obviously we always have, you know, I feel like AD carries and top laners, they always not really go hand in hand, but like the AD carry demands a lot from the top laner.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
oh, TP here, I need help here, give me the wave here.
I mean, a strong side ADC only exists with a weak side top. So
That is true,
we kind of
you know,
complete each other.
Symbiosis.
We complete each other. I think it's very poetic.
You're the Cassandra to my Yunara Lulu.
Thank you very much. I think that's very beautiful message. No, I feel very touched.
Yeah. All right. Let's stay on the emotion aspect and talk about those last moments of the game, shall we? We're gonna play a replay here. It is the Elder Drake, actually, and maybe give us your science, your wisdom, your insights on what made it hard to play that fight and grab the win in the end.
So I mean, obviously they had a lot of poke, and the Kai'Sa started to deal a lot of damage to me as well. So I can't really just be in front and tank all the damage, but. In the end, it was an Elder flip, and it's always a banger in the Elder flip, but Skewmont got those. And then once we got the Elder, you know, I felt like a relief off my shoulders because I feel like this game was hard because I played not so great. So I feel very grateful that I have a jungler who can smite, you know. Get yourself a jungler that can smite, and you win those games, you know what I mean?
Okay, I'm gonna chat up Skewmont for some Dookie after this. So it's another win for you on Cassante. You've now played 3 games on Cassante, 3-0. It's a nice pick into Jace. I was a little bit wondering, we had a conversation actually about Malphite. The champion is kind of gone. Because I keep thinking Malphite when I see Jace in our blind pick. Do you think there's a reason he isn't picked very much?
Yeah, I think I mean, if you pick Malphite into Jace, you kind of like accept that you will not win, right?
Yeah.
Like I think with Cassante, you always have this all-in option.
Yeah.
With Malphite, it's a little bit more tricky. I feel like you are really vulnerable early game to like dives and stuff, and playing against Pantheon, who is also AD, which is good for Malphite, but you can get really far behind. And I have something else spicy against the Jace that I didn't show yet.
Ooh.
So maybe I'll pull it off at some point. But maybe I'm also just like talking my talk, right? You know what's... You know, playing some mind games.
Yeah.
You know about that,
Maybe
right?
there's nothing. I mean, Humanoid said it. People lie in interviews. So
People
maybe you're
lie a
lying
lot.
here as well.
Which is not nice.
It's not
you know?
nice.
So maybe I am not lying, maybe I am.
Yeah.
So we will never know until we know, basically.
Finn, do you have any idea on what he could be on here?
I mean, I hope it's a classic BrokenBlade Aurelia coming out, you know? We used to dabble in the Aurelia matchups back in the days. Back when you and I had hands.
Don't say that
Now
name,
it's only you that have hands,
It's gonna bring back emotions that I haven't felt for so long.
What about the Riven?
The Riven,
the
Riven, the thing is, the Riven died a long time ago for me.
Yeah.
You know, ever since you enter pro play, the thing is, I tried, man.
Yeah.
Into Vince Gwen, you went barrier?
No,
Riven?
I went TP Ignite. I went TP Ignite. And if we can go back and look at that game. I think the enemy bot lane was 7-0.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you can always run
which
the top
can happen.
laner for
I'm not shooting shots at anyone here. These things can happen. I do think I should have committed to the Flash Ignite that game, though. But yeah, Riven on international stage, maybe one day.
It's bold.
But I think you know what? Riot has to buff the champ.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
No. What are you saying? She's like a 53% winner in solo queue. Give her a
Talking
small buff.
about, I'm sorry. I just looked at you and I think your Kled is amazing, right?
My God.
And me, who also plays Kled here,
God.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Is my Kled on your level?
I mean, I don't like that you go grasp sometimes. Last game you played Kled, you played pretty bad. You died like level 1 or something. You went grasp. You all in.
Okay, I did, but...
You went grasp, but you all in level 1.
I agree with you.
What was the matchup actually?
It was Kled Olaf.
Kled Olaf, yeah. So against Olaf,
I agree with you. We have
one.
the same conclusion here.
Okay, good.
You know, and that just shows again, like, if you're like close-minded, like me, that not like me, because I learned. My conclusion was, I should go Conqueror here.
You could have just written, man. You never respond to my letters. You could have just asked me about Kled tips, but your ego got in the way.
No, that is true. My ego. You know, ego is a very, very... It's a good thing, but also a bad thing. You know, in our team, we say have the good ego, not the bad ego. What does it mean? Do you know it?
No, I don't.
AD carries doesn't know what it means.
Enlighten me.
A good ego is when you like have the confidence to go for good plays, have the confidence that you're better, but you also are humble to learn. And the bad ego is sometimes you see it in your solo queues.
Arrogance.
Arrogance. No, I'm right.
But BrokenBlade is either right or he's not right. There's a fine balance between the ego.
All right.
Goosebumps right now.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Actually, inspirational words. Has your jungler good ego or a bad ego? He's the key player of the game here.
My jungler?
Your jungler, yes, Skewmont.
I would say Skewmont has really, really good ego. Sometimes also a bad ego. But that just depends, you know. If you meet him in solo queue, sometimes he's really good ego.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know. I have a thing when I'm playing against my teammates in solo queue, they become the best players in the world. You know, you understand? Like this is because they want to prove like something, and that's a very good ego, you know. And for me, like I want to, as a teammate, as a team captain, I want to like take this energy from them and like make them the best player they can be.
Yeah.
And especially for Caps as well, I feel like he got this from Caps, where if you play against Caps in solo queue and he wants to like he will play to not win, he will play to make your game miserable.
Humiliate you.
And like he would just roam top, you know, he doesn't care. I check mid wave, and as a top laner, you look at the mid wave before you get roamed on. The mid wave is like not good for him, and you will still see him top lane. And Skewmont is like, but you know, yesterday I played solo queue and he cancelled the enemy top laner's base 3 times. That is my jungler, man.
That's in the competitive as well. Would you say he's building good habits from playing solo queue, doing stuff like that?
I think Skewmont is a very good player for good habits. I think he's a very disciplined guy on how he plays the game. So respect to Skewmont. You know what I mean? But also I want him to stay humble. But yeah, I think today game 2 he played amazing.
One thing to the jungler a day keeps the lose away, and that's what we learn here from BrokenBlade once again. We're gonna take a short break, but do not worry, he will stay with us to preview the next game. Bibi, thank you for now. Yeah, you will.
Yes, you will.
We haven't told you you're staying here.
You complimented my clad, you can't get out of my clutches.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Even with eyes shut, I see them. Vile creatures. Lurking. Watching.
You wanna play too?
None can hide. They laugh from the shadows. They won't be laughing for long. I'll cut out their rot. Hunt down every last shadow. Cleanse this place once and for all. I will rid this world of demons. No matter the cost.
Want to find your fastest server every time? Express like a pro and optimize your connection in one tap. Express and game without ISP throttling. Express and shield yourself from DDoS attacks. Express and choose the VPN trusted by gamers everywhere. Express VPN. Experience gaming the Express way. Fast, stable, competitive. Outplay the world. It's time to Express. Unlock free Hextech rewards, exclusive skins, and more. Scan to subscribe.
human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Welcome back to the Riot Games Arena for our last game before we be on the road with Casey at Evry Courcouronne next week. That's right. We're going home, on va à la maison, and that's also the last time we're going to see SK in a while, actually. But yeah, Casey is welcoming us to their home next week. It's going to be a banger, 3 days. The atmosphere was amazing last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be about this time around. But for now, as we said, SK only has 2 games left after this. You faced off against them earlier this week, Bibi. What do we think of SK?
What do we think of SK?
The PR training.
Speak your mind. Come on. Speak your truth, King.
I think, you know, I'm not gonna say anything, but I mean, obviously, I think they have the talent to make it work. I feel like they just didn't find the sauce yet. You understand?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like
the bechamel is lacking. Yeah.
I can make a nice bechamel. Anyways, I think what I like about SK. Okay, I'll say what I like about SK is that they're willing to flex stuff. I think they're overdoing it. I think they really want to do it, and I think they're overdoing it. I think they have good ideas. I think they have good players. Also, I think that Yopa is playing quite well, especially with Mickey on bot lane. I think they have a good synergy there. But I think they're overcooking a little bit. And as for me as well, and as for us in G2, sometimes we're also overcooking. So I really know this feeling well. That sometimes you have to take a gear back, you know, when you slow down a little bit. And I think it will do them well.
On this Yopa topic, actually, last time we had this discussion about Yopa, Hansama. It's going to be Yopa Kelly's today.
Yeah.
So, as a fellow AD carry, what do you think?
I mean, I think Yopa's been really good. I've been very impressed by him, especially when the rest of the team has been floundering. I think he's had really good games. Going up against Kalist Busio, though, I don't know about how they have been performing in scrims against you guys, but I feel like Kalist and Busio, to me, look like probably the best bot lane in the league. But care to comment, VB?
I mean, obviously, I think always my bot lane is the best, but they are strong. Also, they are duo abusing all the time in solo queue, which annoys me a little bit. It's very hard to win against that. I mean, obviously, they are just playing really, really well. I think Busio is very good on the range supports. I know this because when the lane swords were a thing, he was really good at denying me CS from playing against him when he was in FlyQuest. So I think they're strong. I think it is going to be tough for SK to win through bot against a team like KC, I think. But I'm excited.
All right. We have Caps, your mid laner on the caster desk. You can see him upstairs here. Is there? Hi, Caps. Is there anything you want to tell him?
No, I think he's going to do a great job because you know, he's not just a very good player, but also probably a very good talent. Excited. I'll be looking from the home screens from my devices. We will probably review his performance not only in game but also here later.
Love it. We're gonna leave it there. Caps,
Nice.
over to you.
Nice. I mean, that's some high pressure coming in from the start, but I appreciate it. You know, BB always supportive.
Oh yeah.
What are your goals coming into this cast?
I mean, I definitely want to have some predictions come right. You know, that would be big clutch. And maybe I'll see Miki or Yak do something funny as well.
Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
My goal usually is to watch people do stuff funny. It's like a big goal.
That would be fun. Yeah. But yeah, we got BB's takes on SK. You obviously also played them 2 days ago. What's your take on this and perhaps this mid lane matchup as well?
I mean, I definitely think it'll be an uphill battle. To be completely honest, but I do think SK have a lot of, you know, strats coming into both splits, and I think if they find one that works for them, then maybe they'll surprise.
I mean, that makes sense. We have talked a lot about SK, obviously, because you guys have history and you played them recently. What are your thoughts on KC at the moment? They've only played 2 series, this is their 3rd, but they've looked pretty dominant in those series.
I mean, for sure, right? I think this whole year they've just been very consistently strong. Like they've been on top of the league and. Near the top at least. But this split is no different as well, so I think they're looking strong.
Yeah, I think for me the thing that impresses me about KC is that they, as you rightly said, they're very consistent. I feel like I know what I'm going to get from them when they come into a game, which is not what I expect from other top teams in the league, where it feels like their performance day to day seems to shift quite significantly. This team to me is very, very consistent, and the one that surprised me the most is Yehu. You said last split that you actually rate him as one of your toughest mid lane matchups, and we actually saw it in the finals where I was really impressed with how well he was playing in that final. So do you have any comments on him and his play this year?
No, I mean, for sure, I think he's very strong, and I just think all of KC is just very aggressive, which makes it difficult to play against them, right? Like, I think they draft a lot of winning lanes and they also just play them very well, so it's just, you're always getting pressured, you know? If either Kaiwo is just playing very well, or they are invading us, or suddenly top or bot are pushing us in and getting some form for pressure, so they're very good at just finding pressure in the game.
Yeah, makes sense. We are going to get into draft for game 1. I'm not quite sure who got side selection, as it's not usually it shows us on the screen in front of us. It will say who got side selection for us, but right now they're scrolling through. You can see it up there, Caps. You see the screen? Yeah, see how they scrolled it down for us. SK got right of first selection. They chose second pick. KC chose to be on the red side. We often see teams picking second pick at the moment. Why do you feel that is? Like, usually you think first pick, you want a priority pick in that position, but now we're seeing a lot more second pick choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I think every team has like different opinions. Like some teams just value like getting the counter picks. I think some teams are struggling finding like first picks as well on the patch. Like obviously the Ori and the Rise are like some of the big first picks, but I feel like the drop off is kind of big after that. And yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see what they go for here, right?
I mean, it's probably Rumble, right? Especially for Kana.
Ok, evo nas nazad vidimo i svi ili ništa za SK. Da vidimo da li mogu da se izvade iz, verovatno, najgore moguće situacije gde moraju pobediti ekipu koja nema poraz da bi ostali u trci za playoff, što mislim da je malo napeto, ali dobro. KC počinje s default draftom, SK je taj od koga ja lično očekujem cheese i mislim da će oni verovatno biti ti koji će da probaju da izvuku nešto što nismo vidjeli do sad.
Generally such a strong bot lane because of the synergy with the beat drop and the slows from the auto attacks. Don't have to pick the Ashe, and that's what SK are going to decide to do here. Instead, going Seraphine and Xin Xiao, giving the most played jungler across the course of spring.
Isn't
Ashe
the obvious pick for KC? Because not only if you're assuming an Ashe is going to come through, but also the synergy alongside the Rumble.
For sure. I mean, I think Javan would make a lot
Mislim, banovali su Eza i first pickovali su Rumbla. Jest da KC ima neki direktan counter, da nešto hoće da igraju Ashe Seraphine. Možda bude Kate Bard, ali ne znam.
Yeah, that makes sense. Caitlyn Bard also has really strong lane pressure, so SK now need an AD carry to try and match that. It is going to be the Ashe.
Mislim da se nije baš pokazalo kao full counter, ali ajde.
So I love asking pros, especially in this position, how much weight you put on your pick. So let's say you're SK in this position, their second pick, their last pick. How much of a priority do you say, I really want counter pick versus I'm happy to blind my mid here?
I mean, I think, like, especially with Fearless, it gets it changes a lot with it. But I think for like game one right now, especially with Leader, I think they will probably go for the counter pick just because he loves playing a bit of like off meta or like more cheesy picks, which are not that strong blind. So I would be very surprised if they end up blinding mid.
Because if this was you, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they could blind Ahri, they could blind Aurora. Those would probably be the two. You could in theory blind LeBlanc as well.
Yeah, I went for the LeBlanc on like 2 days ago, and I mean I see it's also up, which I guess is something that Caio likes. I mean, of course, I think Leader will probably not go for that. I would be surprised at least.
Because Azir has kind of fallen off a cliff. It feels like kind of around the world. But I guess you're right that Yehu specifically, he loves that Azir pick as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has fallen off, but I mean, people are still picking it. I mean, I guess it didn't get picked in our series today, but it's definitely like still a pick to look out for.
Yeah, interestingly, over half of SK's last picks are counted for Leader.
There you go.
6 of 11 for him, so he's usually quite late in the draft. I don't want to give you to ever give away draft stuff, obviously caps, but if you were going to pick an outlandish pick, if you were Leader in this situation, like, hey guys, this is the pick that I really think wins us the game.
Ne znam što uzimaju ovdje iskreno za Lidera.
They actually do end up going for
Aurora, okay.
It is technically a flex. Honestly, I would not be surprised if it's top. But I mean, he did play it as well 2 days ago. Like, I was expecting the Azir blind to come in, and then like knowingly that like it's hard to predict, I would maybe even say like Echo coming in or something like this, like something fun, right? I think now that they went Aurora, it does make the Echo pick a bit worse.
But this is a Z angle.
Yeah, I was about to say I could see him going set because maybe they want to get some form for 80 damage. I still think the Aurora is probably going top, but we'll see.
I mean, it makes sense into the Rumble, right? It's one of those matches we're starting to see a bit more of. Things like the Galio into Rumble, we don't see quite as much these days, but it was obviously something DB brought out quite a lot last year. See where KC decides to go jungle-wise. It is going to be Skarner for Yike. They kind of needed a tank, and obviously Skarner's Impale on low mobility targets is really nice. Very easy to hit.
I'm also thinking, like, of the mid with both Yone and Akali bans, like, oh wow, okay, they're playing very standard. Perhaps they took BB's advice to heart. Perhaps they didn't want to overcook this game, and they just want to keep it stock standard.
What we don't realize is that Seraphine bot Ashe.
Eza su banovali samo zašto ne žele da Jopa igra Eza, jer mu je to definitivno najbolji pik u lecu bio. Sa Ashe ima mnogo manje outplay potencijala, tako da razumem Ezreal ban donekle. A nijeko da KC opada, mislim, Azir će također scalovati Giga dobro, Rumble, Caitlyn. Ne, mislim će biti jako teško za... I još kažem, mislim, po mom mišljenju, sam roster KC-a je najbolji roster unutar leca.
Like, definitely have to look out for the Ashe, right? Like, they have the Bard to set up against that, the Scanner to go in, of course. For mid lane, it's a bit more for a chill lane, to say. Like, I don't think Azir will be needing like much assistance, so definitely need to find a way to make sure Scanner doesn't impact bot too much.
Okay, so for KC, do you think the win condition for them is playing through bot or playing through top?
I mean, I definitely think they will probably look for some form for like disrupt or like some way to like set Ashe a bit behind. I think we've seen like this matchup like a lot of times, and I specifically remember one Vitality game where the Bard was just holding on cooldown the Ashe, putting trap and one-shotting. So I think they will look to end up with that kind of game state, ideally, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. Try and punish Yoppa, who has been one of the best performers for SK. As we get on to Summoner's Rift for the final series of Week 4.
Ajmo da vidimo. Da li SK ima ono što je potrebno da se zadrže? Mislim, s jedne strane, ono što je, da kažeš, fair je što je njihova sudbina u njihovim rukama. Sad, ono što nije baš okej je zašto moraju da idu na KC. A onda posle toga idu na Vitality. Tako da, oni su 2-5 s tim da na dva najteža protivnika nisu igrali još. Ali opet, eto, mislim, ako želiš šansu da se izbaviš, moraš da pobediš dve najbolje ekipe unutar LEC trenutno. Yahoo razvio Lethal, solidan trade.
Quite a volatile champion in the sense that, she's very skill shot dependent, right? Like hitting the Q, hitting the E's. And of course, I think he missed his first Q, but then he hit his second E, which kind of makes up for it a little bit. But it's definitely not the best lane state from Aurora so far. But again, it's so much going to be, now he's going to get L2 if he hits the QE. I guess I didn't see exactly.
Sad ima dobar ugao ovde, da.
If you look at the middle screen, Vedi has his screen slightly accelerated at the start of the game just because of the way that we do it. So yeah, he did hit a little bit of damage.
Also spoiling the
it's fine. It was like one of those moments where someone says, "Oh, this guy's dead in 15 seconds," and you were just there. You were ahead of the game, you know.
Fair enough.
But so. For the Aurora, as you say, it's volatile. For the Azir, is the intent just to try and sit back, absorb pressure, and then scale up into it, or do you have kill threat?
I mean, that is the ideal.
Nema Azir kill threat na Aurora.
Aurora will look to play very aggressive. You kind of need to match the aggression in a way. Like the best defense is a good offense, right? And I think he's doing well so far. Of course, both of them are getting right low, which is nice for Aurora, I would say. But also you need to look at the mana pool, right?
Znate kako se ovo zove? Ovo je specifičan scenarij na midu. Či budite spremni, ako imate ovako dva mid lanera koji su na 200 healtha, ova situacija se zove bolji jungler pobeđuje. Nemojte to nikad zaboraviti. Znači ako ovdje umrete 1 na 1, loši ste, ali ako vas ubije jungler, jugadiv. Mislim, nema da je kumrti 1 na 1, možete kažete što moj jungler nije došao. Net cancel je big, ali fajn i dalje. Neće Yahoo da... Onda neće na kraju ni lider, okej. Neće niko da ostane, neće niko da flipuje.
It's not the easiest to impact, but of course when they are like flashing forward, it becomes a bit easier to do something. And that's also why you saw both mid laners going for like a base before the junglers finish the full clear, because like if they haven't finished the full clear, they will usually not skip like a camp to look for games.
Ovo je Caps inače na kastu.
Now here we see them look specifically because they used the flash, right, from before.
I sad je dobio lidera. Mi se ga ne stiže. Jako je nezahvalno genko. Opa, bravo, Kana. Nice. Dobio je overhited bušilicu. I sad vidi da mu skin čisti ward. Promešće Canon, ali treba se vrati nazad i to je to.
It's a death, sure it sucks, the Rumble's a little bit accelerated, but in the grand scheme of things...
I think your Ashe Seraphine care about the equalizer damage from the extra gold, dude.
Actually, it's funny you guys say that because we had like a bit of a meme in our team as well, where like, I think we were playing against like Gwen or something, and he ended up dying with Cyan, but he's like, oh, it's fine, you know, I have my passive, I'm gonna do the bow strat. And Labra was like, don't feed the Gwen. So yeah, I think that's a good assessment. Like Cyan might be fine in the game, right? He gets to farm up a bit, but obviously Rumble is gonna hurt a bit more. So.
Rumble je problem, iskreno. Rumble je baš problem. Uzvičnik TFT ako tražiš tabelu, ali mislim da je sad... Uzvičnik TFT je svako komanda. Kana, Spelp and Boots.
I mean, it's hard to say, but you can say like it gives him a bit more like all-in threat, right? Especially like this also part of the reason he probably finds his all-in. Maybe with the first strike he wouldn't have had the angle, but then with first strike he has just a bit more like a gold on average, right? Like he will always have the reliable gold.
Jajk je fajn ovdje, dovoljno je tanky. Mada je Skins također... Mislim, Xin je jedan najjači junglera u ovom delu partije, Kjahusom ide se bi. Sviđa mi se kako igra Kjahu. Ali kažem, generalno KC kao igrač za igrača vjerojatno ima najbolji roster u lecu. Sad okej, Caps je verovatno bolji od Kjahua. Ali opet, ja mislim da je Kana na Knaku su tu negde. Jajk Rileč su tu negde. Busio mislim da je baš najbolji. Mislim da je Busio baš najbolji support. I opet ima dosta nastakovanih AD carry, ali kao overall mislim da kada stavim sve igrače koji igraju LEC, overall, da ono, znate kao u futbolu što imate ono kao ocene igrača, KC verovatno ima najveću ocenu, jer KC nema jednog igrača za kog mislim da je slab. Znaš, svi su ono rating 95+. Dok recimo BB i Labrov nisu 95+, trenutno ovaj split. Jajk, video ga je kamen, kill. A ovaj draft generalno mi se ne sviđa za KC. Ja da sam coach KC-a, ne KC-a, sorry, SK, da sam coach SK, ne bi im ovako draftovao. Jer fora je što ekipa SK ovdje je draftovala normalan draft. Ti si 2-5, igraš u najbolji tim u LEC-u i ti draftuješ normalno. Ne znam. Ja sam uvek za to, ok, ajde da vidimo šta može se uradi, da se iznenadi protivnik, se igra malo više komfor, da pokupe neke pikove koji njima trunku više leže, jer ovako, nemam pojma. Biješ se na ruke s KC-om koji je samo je bolji. A mogu bi live chat upalim, to bi isto bilo super. Second try.
It used to be that dragon stacking was like the be all and end all. Especially last year, it was like, oh, you just want to get 4 drakes, you want to fight around the soul, you really want to force it. Yeah, even versus, there was a lot of dragon stacking. It feels like we've kind of moved away from that slightly, with a little bit more grub prio at times. Is that the sense you get as well?
Yeah, I mean, like partly, I think for us as well, I think we're just still trying to get our best read on like the meta and stuff, and I think all of that helps you be more confident to take the drakes. I think we're a team that likes to not go for too many flips in a way. Like, if we have a very good understanding of like our champions and their champions and stuff like this, we will play a bit more aggressively.
Watching the Elder Drake fight in the last game, I thought there weren't many flips there as well.
Nah, I mean, that one was not a flip. Yeah, we have full faith in.
I opa igra Kraken, Kalist verovatno Hexoptic, Jajk Protoplezam ili Hardstyle, ja se nadam Hardstyle. Kalist ima Cleanse. Neće da ništa pretera, bacio je Cleanse, ovo je bacio ulti, on će nastaviti da bije. Eš također nema barijeru, ima Cleanse, tako da Kalista može samo da basicuje se nahila. Treba je da ulta malo ranije dok nije bio tu Miki, ali dobro, da bi imao clean damage. Kana hoće plate. Free gold. Sinčil deo partije, ekipa KC-a nije draftovala divlje da moraju da vinaju game rano, tako da, mislim, slažem se s tim što radi KC, imaju dobar skill, bit će jaki kasnije, nema razloga da sad oni prave ne znam nija kakvu fijestu urliju kad su oni bolji. Kao objektivno su bolja ekipa, tako da šta te boluo, brat, to je free win za tebe. Malo je Busio failovo na skin za ovdje stan, iskreno. Jako lep ult Busija. Sad će i opa dobiti malo batina. Busio je failovo Q, ali naći još jednu ovdje najverovatnije, neće da konektuje skin za ni na šta. Kjahu je mogo da flash ulta, nije hteo, I guess da je fine. Mislim, pogotovo vamo na supporta, mislim se ne isplati baciti flash ult da ubiješ Serafin. Izgleda ekipa KC samo ne želi da izgubi, u smislu kao neće flipaju u stvari. Znaš.
Expect to see you in finals again.
I think he also expects him to see himself in finals. Just that, but
I will say it's a little biased on the sense that we also just been in a lot of finals. Like even in like the ones we lost.
I wasn't saying it was a good stat. I was just saying it was a cool stat. Okay.
Alright, Cabs. We're only like
ne radimo ono sečenje, 3 života.
But tell us your thoughts on how you expect this game to play out. Your one chance to have a big prediction on how this game will play out.
I mean, I think like this invade we just saw, like these are the kind of moments where SK is
Apsolutno ne. Možeš ti da igraš, ja ću kastujem, to nije problem.
Yeah, and I
Ne da ne radim to sečenje, nego vidi. Vidi. Scar izlazi u Wild Rift. Možda pitam šta će bude s njim. Šta će mu rade sa spelovima. Ma vidi, sjećam se u 3 života. Siguran sam da je to super, ali... Jajki uzao hardstyle, će krene skela.
A lot of that sitting on Kana, who's just been farming Wonder in the top side. Busio looking with the temper fate onto Mickey, who doesn't have flash.
I Jopa nema Kraken još, tako da mu je damage threat zanemarljiv. I onda mogu samo ubiju supporta. Ubiće na kraju Busija. Ako krene, možda neće gubije, nema veze. Dobar flash. I sad samo Kalist treba tuče skin zaradi treta, ništa drugo. Vjerojatno će Jajk da padne svejedno, ali... Tučeš čisto da ne pomisli da može baš da radi šta hoće, iako realno gledano može da radi šta hoće. Kana ima flash. Ima i Wunder, ali Kana ima i Busio je fajn. Da. To je fajn. Kalist mora da netuje ka skinzu i da proba da ga ubije. Nope. Peor. NT lepku je provukao, mislim da je ovo Kalist odigrao koliko je dobro mogo da odigra. Samo laki. Kledzbu tu ništa ne bi značio svejedno, tako da šta se radi. Inače također update za Patreone da su paketi poslati, tako da ćeš javiti vamo, da ćeš na Disu da javimo. Traditional aggressive style, and that forces Yike to throw everything that he can to try and lock Yoppa down. Flashes away from Yike, but then Leader makes the rotation down towards bot lane, making it a 1-for-1 trade, and they give the kill over to Leader as well. So a much needed kill. Problem is though for SK, they will concede the Dragon, so another early objective goes the way of LEC. Now they're converting this pressure into an early invade. To. Ništa, i ti je iza kačke, ti i GG's. Dobro, dobijem. Kažem, još kačketi nam fali izgore Michela, to je to, GG. Ne znam kad će oni biti gotovi. Actually pretty even between them and their opponents, at least here in Spring Split. It's between 14 and 20 they really begin to explode away from their enemy teams. They also have a very high combined kills a minute, but they have very low deaths on average. So really they just... Da li je Jopi uništena karijera pošto je u SK u lošem timu? Mislim da nije, samo zbog toga što je uspeo da se istakne kao jako dobar igrač u jako lošoj ekipi. Ali mislim da je to veoma, veoma teško raditi. Tako da mislim da mu nije uništena karijera, mislim da će dobiti priliku da igra još. Samo mnogo je sad veći flip zato što je u SK. Ne znam, sad je mnogo veće pitanje jer sad mora se dogodi da se otvori mesto AD Carry-a da bi ga neko pozvao. A da recimo igra u nekom timu koji je stompovo, mislim da bi otvorili mesto da bi on igrao. To mislim da je velika razlika. Tako da to je nekako moj take što se toga tiče. Znaš, mislim da je on presmrufovao, onda bi ekipe bile u fazonu realno Jopa je free agent sad, ajmo njemu da damo mesto. Ali pošto je bit će realno bottom 4, mislim da mora da mu se posreći da nekoj ekipi treba AD carry i onda će oni budu u fazonu realno Jopa se pokazao dosta dobro. Ovo ga je zabog Yahoo, Skarnerov ulti. Pa da, nezgodno je. AD carry je prezat, ti kažem, znaš. Ali realno što da nešto, mislim, Arturo nije nešto, znači upset nije loš. Nije ni upset loš, iskreno. Na šta i mogli mi, Klara? Da mi likujemo patronima možda sljedeći mjesec, 20. Zar ne bi to tako bilo po nekom našem starom rasporedu? Evo, pitaću ih ja. Srbotom.
That's not going to stop Kana from farming up a storm. Meanwhile, we look back at this play. The ultimate's going to connect from Busio once again onto Mickey. He did have the flash, but he doesn't use it preemptively. Instead, he uses it reactively. But Yeti with the chain CC, beautifully done. Lands the ult, flashed away from Yahoo, but then the ulti from...
Deki kaže, zaspao sam, jel G2 pobedio i drugu partiju iz bolnice te pratim? Pobedio je G2 i Deki, nadam se da si okej, brate, da je sve u redu. I da će brzo oporavak da bude, brate moj. Dobio je G2 drugu partiju. A mislim, iskreno su bili možda i ubedljiviji nego prvu, u smislu dobili su Infernal Soul pa su malo jače stompali. I sad gledamo SK KC, da SK ako izgubi, SK je ispao. To je fora. Hasn't been able to play through Prio as much as well, with his lanes being pushed in from time to time, but still a 3,000 gold lead for them. And he's been involved in 5 of the team. 2.500 koraka da pređem. I slobodan sam za dana, što je good stuff. A možda... Ne, nije bio u uglu da trepuje. Što znači nije cleanse loš u to, ti realno imaš trep posle bar dulta, ovako možda ga cleansaš pa da se bar išetaš iz istog. Tako je, Deki, legalno, drž se, brate moj. Drž se, brate moj, ne daj se. Wunder možda mrtav. Lepo. Mislim, Jopa nema puno damage-a, ali ima konstantno damage-a, samo što je problem što njega šota sve s druge strane, kao što ste videli. A nema taj outlet potencijal ko Nezu. Koliko koraka dnevno mi je cilj? Ja sam prešao 10.500. 12.000 mi je cilj. Doduše, danas mi je specifičan dan, tako da danas će mi biti cilj 20.000. Ali obično je 12. Obično je 12. 12 mi je neki bilo mi je 10k ranije. Ali sad sam odlučio da katujem nekih 8 nedelja otprilike. I rekao sam da ću tih 8 nedelja hodati 12.000. Tako da čisto malkice da povećam dnevne korake. Plus kažem, pošto svakako znaš, i radim LEC 3 put nedeljno, pa mi je lako da nabijem te korake, jer svako, evo viš, sad sam koliko na traci, sad 2, budem na traci 3, jako lako se nakupe koraci. Dok prošetam Luje, dok odem u teretanu, ja sam prešao 10.000. I onda 2-3.000 na traci pređem i to je to, znači. Tako da, to mi malo mi pomaže što sam kao mogućnosti da dok radim neke stvari mogu da šetam. Solidan ulti.
Just a lot of these skirmishes aren't going the way of SK. You can see they've got the right idea, but execution-wise, KC is just outperforming them. Busio's Bard staying true to its legacy. 3-0-6, a champion that in North America you couldn't afford to give him. At internationals, teams would ban it away from him. And here in this first game, the Caitlyn Bard proving to be a very strong wall that SK cannot overcome.
Yeah, 77% win rate over 15 games on the Bard. There are reasons that this is so often banned against Busio. And he continues to show us exactly why. Infinity Edge on its way for Kalist. 2 items complete on Yoppa, the only one with a gold lead for SK.
I mean, he's the one we always watch, right, on the side of SK. If anyone's going to carry, it's going to be him. He's got a really bright future ahead of him. His leader, I think, is now Corp.
The rest of his team is coming across. Leader missed most of the stuff. Uses between worlds.
Leader missed most of the stuff.
Could look for an encore through
Yeah,
on
doesn't have the flash. Skeen's now collapsing to clear out this vision as well. But Busio, he's safe as houses. Steps back, Cosmic Binding. There's the Tempered Fate for the follow-up. And now it's Skeens who has to flash away. TP comes in from Yahoo. Leader slowed up. Beat drop from Mickey. Does land a good double root. Yike going in with the Ishtar's impact. Can't quite get the damage down, but there's the upheaval for a bit more chase. Yike impale. Mickey flashes out of it.
Okay, KC were very eager to have that fight happen.
Mogu da stavim obaveštenja, Klaro, za...
Yoppa does get some good damage back onto Busio. Wonder pushing through the bot side. Yeah, I don't blame KC for being eager, because the worst that happens is that you take the top tower, and the best that happens is you get a couple of kills and you take the Baron. Right? They have enough damage to do it at the moment, especially with double Leandries and then Ash's Tooth complete on Yehu. So it would have been a nice follow-up. I guess the worst that happens is you all die somehow, but very unlikely that you all die in that situation. I'm sorry, I was glass half full, sort of pessimist it seems.
Pišem ja u obaveštenjima, Klaro, da znaš. Isto.
They need to win this, really.
They've only got 2 games left against both KC and Vitality. For them to have a realistic
Ali nešto fali ovdje.
one of them minimum to have a
A ne fali, to je to.
That's just a chance. If they win both,
Ne, dobre.
there's a world where they can make top 6, but it then gets down to weird, complicated tiebreaker rules, which they would love to avoid. So let's see if they can bounce this back here in this game.
Sviđa mi se kako su to napravili. Jako lepo da mogu da vide. O, može, pa se lepo vidi. Kako će Windrose, fenomenalna igra. S tim da, lično, ja mislim da je bolje kad igraš, sve je bolje kad igraš s društvom, ali stvarno je dobra igra, nema šta. To je činjenica. To je činjenica. Možda sam stavio obaveštenja. Tamo je napišemo.
We look back at this play, SK, I wouldn't even say they're overextended, just Casey saying, well, you know what, we want to set up around Baron, we're going to commit all 5 members, we're interested in a fight. SK is very split up, a nice flash from Busio to block Wonder's ultimate from getting him to safety. They find that initial kill, and then the combo comes through. They throw out the Tempered Fate to lock down another pick. Yehu has to use his ultimate to keep the Scion away from him. But they find 2 kills, they do good damage onto SK, and now with the Baron, they're looking to break into the base.
And as much as the rest of KC are obviously all playing really well, you watch Busio in some of these fights, man. He goes in, gets auto
Tako, ispisao sam ovdje, eto da...
jump away because otherwise he's slowed and he's just going to die. Hits the Cosmic Binding onto Wonder, then flashes in front of the Unstoppable Onslaught, and while doing that, hits the Tempered Fate onto Mickey. And it's just everything that KC needs.
Stavio sam i obaveštenje da ljudi mogu da vide, tako da Patreon imate link za merch sljedeći mjesec. Iskreno, mnogo mi sviđa što ima mnogo boja, baš je lepo. Baš je lepo da imamo opcije. A? Evo ti dok gledamo, nažalost, kako ekipa SK stvarno nema šanse. Mislim, krivo mi je, ali... Ako će SK ikako dobiti ekipu KC-a, to mora da bude na čist. Znači, Wunder, brate, igrao si ti ADTF-a na topu, igrao si Aniviju na topu i sad si uzeo Siona u kanu, da ti šutira na topu. Sljedeći game, Wunder draftuje Gragasa, lider draftuje Yasua. Jopa mora da igra neku Kalistu, neku Korkija, nešto, ne može da igra Ash, ne može da igra heroja bez mobilitija. Ne kažem da ne može, on je sposoban da to igra, ali ne može da nosi game s tim, to je problem. Jer on je 2-2 na Ash, on je umro 2 puta, jednom je umro na kraju partije i opet odigrao super partiju, samo brate, šta da radiš? 0-5-1-3, 1-5-0-4. Baš je unplayable bilo za Jopu, iskreno. Giga unplayable za Jopu. 10 minuta pauze, ljudi moji, i onda finalna šansa za SK da urade bilo šta. Ja ću iskuirati makice pa se vraćam još jednom Patreon, imate na Disu da vidite merch, mi se vidimo za nekih 7-8 minuta.
And see if we can recuperate after that. We'll see you in a moment.
break. Have a Kit Kat.
Maybe 'cause I'm the crushing.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wait, is he switching lanes?
Okay, wait, speak one more time, like you're dying in a team fight.
Ah, I'm dead.
Oh, nice. Can,
yeah.
please.
Push away. Yeah.
You want to be? Happy darts. Look, Seraphine, look, Seraphine. Can kill, please.
Vänta.
Oh, Zion.
Oh, Zion. I got you.
Okay. Kill.
And.
GG, yeah.
Wiping the floor with their opponents. That is what KC did. Right there. Just here, against SK. And in our Euronics play of the day, KC actually turns a team fight in their advantage and grab a concrete lead on that game. That was a one-sided one, guys.
Yeah, I want to look at this, because this was super hype. So it looks like right now KC's sieging on mid. The Herald push is over, but Mickey lands the big encore, right? And here, you're driving away, you're chilling, but look at who shows up in the backline. SK actually wants this fight, but I want you to look at Yehu as he takes the portal out. He's the one that's going to turn this fight for KC, because they have chased a little bit too far here. And he's going to go in for a big swoop that doesn't turn out very big, but it's going to do it right into the Skarner Impale. Look at that synergy. Wow. The swoop up, the alley-oop, the Uber Eats, whatever you want to call it, that goes straight into the bank. I thought it was really hype.
It was a really nice play, and I think you can see the synergy really on display there between the mid jungle from KC, which is really nice, especially when you're dealing with the language barrier, that they still kind of have that like instinct, because you're not communicating.
But League of Legends is a language, and they both share it.
Yeah, they spoke League of Legends in that moment.
Poetry. I don't have anything else to add to this. That was such a one-sided game, guys. Let's take a look at the post-game breakdown actually, because I just want to see if gold-wise SK had a chance.
There is a smudge at one point. They were ahead.
Yeah, when the game is dead even before 10 minutes in game.
If you close your eyes and squint at the same time, then maybe you can imagine it. But look, I came into this series excited because I was hyped to see.
What was making you excited though?
So usually when I come into a series, I'm sitting there with my little notepad. I have my glasses and I'm taking
notes. You don't
notes.
have a notepad. Stop lying to people.
And I'm sitting there like, yes, very good play by Casey. Yes. But for this game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my bucket of popcorn. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna munch, and I'm just gonna enjoy the show. That was my mindset coming into this game. But now, after seeing game one, I was severely disappointed because I feel like SK did not really bring me any enjoyment. The popcorn, they were sweet, they were not salty, and everything just turned really sour in the end because I didn't feel like SK actually pushed KC the way they have pushed some of the top teams, at least in skirmishes.
And I think a stat that you touched upon that the casters talked about as well is like KC at minute 15 is like 200 gold lead, barely anything. KC at minute 20, 2k plus. You know, they're really, really good at just playing a stable early game, and then suddenly they flip the switch, take over the game. And you saw it in this one, that suddenly it came to a point where SK couldn't play anymore, and it wasn't like easy to really pinpoint any single one moment where SK went wrong. It was just KC just said, nah, we're better.
I mean, to me, I think if you're an LEC team, LCK team, LPL team, you need to actually study KC because it's very rare for a team to be this dominant between a 14 to 20 mark. And I think it's super impressive. To me, what really stands out from KC is their patience around objectives. You saw it in that Euronics play of the day, where they see the fight is happening, but they're falling back, pulling, reeling the other team in. And then when they've overextended a little bit too far, that's when they pull the trigger. And I think they're super good at just playing around with space. The map is very big, and you can actually have a lot more movement than you think.
I like what you're saying about studying, Finn, because I wanted to study a bit of the KC setup here on the Dragon. I wanted to illustrate it and kind of go over exactly what KC did really, really well here. So we can get the clip up. You'll see that KC have a really nice control over the Dragon. They have everybody kind of grouped up, while SK are a little bit split. But usually, having the Scion on a relatively flanking position can be fine against a weaker team. But up against KC, that is getting punished immediately. You see Kana takes the plan to go over to flank Wunder. Busio is getting a stun on Wunder as well. So they immediately pinpoint SK's weakness in their formation to force Wunder out. Now Wunder is flashing and has to run away. And now you can see now that the rest of SK from this is super disjointed. All of SK wanted to play through bot, but Leader now wanted to try to help Wunder or get a flank of his own. But KC again just regroup and go on to Leader now, force him out. And now, the rest of SK, super disjointed. Wunder no longer on a flank, he has to walk around. The rest of SK are kind of together, but it's still a 5 versus 4, so it's super difficult for SK to mount any sort of defense, and especially with Kana with a great equalizer as well, they're able to just pretty much run them down and holding the space really nicely by just pinpointing every single time you see SK split up. And that's what makes KC such a great team, that they don't need to kill you to get a huge advantage. All they need is for you to misstep, misposition a little bit, and then they chunk you out and they get the objective for free.
I mean, it's a fantastic play by KC, but also SK. Come on, what are we doing? Why is our Scion flanking and our Aurora playing front to back as a front line? Come on, you gotta do better than that. I know you're not used to playing standard comps. I know you're not used to playing front to back comps, but you gotta have your tank in front and your burst assassin on the side. Because to me, this just shows bad setup by SK. Fantastic setup by KC, but SK, your side is late for the Dragon. Your Aurora doesn't have the position that she wants. It's time to drop the Dragon. Not every Dragon must be fought over, and I think this was just a late setup by SK, and they need to be more adaptive in these fights.
I heard them laughing during your telestrator. They were not laughing at you, but like for me, it shows that they're not defeated. They're still here. They're still in the series, ready to fight again. What do we want to see from them? Because I see drafts like this, and you guys were the ones saying it. That is not your typical draft, at least not what you want to see from a team like this.
I mean, I would love to bring up the draft, because this is absolutely a typical draft. This is the foundation of a typical draft. Just not for SK.
Yeah.
Because when I think about SK, I think about drafting towards an identity. Their identity is have leader push his lead and have the support and jungle rotate to leader and try to make fights happen. Now I have played with Mickey X and I think he is a fantastic player, probably the best support player in our league. But when it comes to playing Enchanters, he does not really function very well because Mickey X loves doing his own thing. He loves doing his little solo missions to get vision, but when you play something like a Seraphine, like a Nami, like a Karma, you just get caught out and die. So to me, going into this game, I want to see Skeens and Mickey hold hands, like buddies. And whenever they go for vision, they better do it together.
But so you want Mickey on an engaged support.
Yeah.
The problem that I see with your argument, Finn, I agree with you. I think Mickey is better on engaged support. But the meta is Enchanters. Everybody's playing Ezreal Karma, Ashe Seraphine, you know, the Corki Nami. So it's really hard to escape that.
Counter argument.
Okay.
All right.
Nico. Okay.
It's like both.
You see where I'm coming from? Okay, Nico, you can find angles. You can go and get vision as a little raptor, as a little ward, as a little gremlin, whatever you want to be. You can
and he was really good on the Nico last week.
Yeah, so I would love to see at least give Mickey some agency. Because for me, he is the playmaker of this team. He's the one that starts fights. And you can see when he's on Enchanters, it doesn't really look the same when SK is playing.
Okay, second question, Finn. You played with both Leader and Mickey. Do you want Leader on Control Mage or Assassin?
I mean, I think Leader just needs to pick something that has a lane pressure. Because to me, when Leader has to play on the back foot, he kind of shuts down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think Leader needs to play something that can push his lead in the laning phase and have pieces around him that can kind of follow that, integrate well into that plan, and kind of support him in that endeavor. So we're already seeing the Nami first pick here by KC, which is not surprising. Enchanters are all the jizz right now. And right now, Nami is one of the strongest laning supports.
Yeah, but I'm curious, they took it away over Karma. They also chose to ban out the Ezreal Varus. But now SK adapt and take away the Corki from the Nami. And you don't have that many great options to pair the Nami up with. You do have the Lucian.
Oh, you do love the Lucian though.
You have the Lucian. I mean, the Lucian Nami, it's kind of a tale as old as time, right?
Yeah.
You also have the Jhin, which is decent, but not the greatest. That's proccing all of Nami's little E.
So to me, Jack Spectre, if you have a Corki with a support counter pick against the Lucian Nami, theoretical Lucian Nami, do you think an engaged support is possible to play there? Assuming the Nautilus is banned, and
I think Nautilus would really be the go-to. I think you probably just end up going for the Nico. You have the Nocturne as well. Nocturne Nico, a really nice combo. Nocturne turns off the lights, and then Nico can always find a good ultimate.
Don't tease us, Jake. We know you're not going to lock the Graves.
Yeah,
we know he's going to be the Jarvan.
Jarvan Thor.
Yeah, the Jarvan for the Swedish Yike. So Jarvan is locked in there. It will be... I'm not going to speak too much about hovers because already Jarvan... Obviously, Jarvan is quite good in the meta right now just because the sheer magnitude of these engaged and range supports running around that just are so squishy and easy to pick up because they rarely have dashes. And it will be the Nami Yunara locked in here for KC. Now, Jack, how does these bot laners function together?
I mean, Nami Yunara is actually not bad. I just kind of thought she was banned. I didn't realize, but... You have decent synergy. It's not as good as something like the Yunara Lulu, which has just been the go-to for most teams, but Yunara can still pretty easily proc the Tidecaller's Blessing from Nami and get a lot of burst damage. And
Wait a second!
For Mickey.
Mickey just locked in a Mumu support. We said we wanted him on engaged support.
Yep.
And, you know, Alistar, Rel, Blitzcrank, any conventional, that's boring. That's not the Mickey way. He has locked in the Amumu with the Corki. Now I am
Wait, how does he do in a bot lane like this though? Yeah.
Amumu is really good.
But into Nami Yunara?
So the thing with Amumu is that you have an incredibly strong level 1 because you have 2 CCs, like you have 2 bandage tosses. And you take really reduced damage once you get some points
Ček, stani.
to the
Šta se dogodilo, ljudi?
So you can get really tanky.
Oh.
It used to be like the OG counter to Zeri because how Zeri would work.
Kad sam rekao da SK treba da čiza, nisam baš očekivao da će na ovu stranu da ode, neću vas lagati.
Quite a bit in support, and then they nerfed it by nerfing the Q cooldown. But I believe Mumu got a small buff a few patches ago, which enabled him to be played a little bit more in support. And the idea here is that you're playing very similar to a Nautilus. You have high threat level 1, and essentially whenever you can hit your bandage toss, you go in and you should win.
Nisu lokovali Amumu.
Especially you get level 6, you have the huge ultimate for playmaking as well.
Yeah, my main worry when I look at SK's comp is that both Amumu and Nocturne have one mode.
Yeah.
And that's to go in. They're not very good at going out. They have no dashes, and there's a Jarvan in an enemy team. What happens when Yike ults the Amumu, there's a Nami wave coming, and he cannot get out of that ultimate. I'm a little bit worried for that, so we're going to see a lot of initiative and decisiveness from SK if they are to make this draft work. We're already seeing the leader champion pool targeted with their Aurelia ban. Silas ban is very common when you play a Mumu because you don't want to give Silas their Mumu ult. That is a very scary thing to play against. So I do wonder where leader is going to go. What I do like about the Mumu is as well that the Curse of the Sad Mummy applies as passive to all players, which increases the magic damage taken. So any big magic damage circle synergizes really well with a Mumu because it just amplifies the damage by I think 10 or 12%.
I mean, Victor does give exactly that. The only thing is you're picking Victor into the Jarvan, which doesn't feel the greatest, giving more value to the Cataclysm, but it looks like the pick that leader wants to go for, especially with Akali and Irelia. Oh, or they decide to look in the Gnar blind pick instead. They did ban the Jace for it, but still there's a lot of picks that Kana could look for here. What are we thinking about here, Finn?
Gnara Mumu Nocturne.
With an R blind like this, I think if you want to counterpick it, the most conventional thing right now in the East of this is the Yorick, with Jace being banned. Yorick has been very popular as an R answer, but then again, you can pick any range champions and kind of give him a hard time. The Vayne is very cringe as a top laner, but it is very, very strong into the Gnar. Has been locked in by Kana, and I do not pity or envy Wunder's position right now because he's going to be in for a world of pain as Yehu has blind picked Yanni. And I do wonder now, leader, you have the last pick. You have the Amumu, the Nocturne, the Gnar, the big team.
Vayne Gnara isto nema puno smisla.
Take me on a journey, and I want to see what you bring
Šta
out.
sad?
Let's see it, leader. Let's see what he got.
Oh, that's a magic damage circle, baby. Diana mid locked in for leader, unless that's a Nocturne mid and a Diana jungle. I do believe we're seeing leader on an AP assassin mid lane with a lot of big
Brat, ovi ga baš,
together with a lot of
ovi ga baš lome.
While game 1 was the least SK draft I have seen in a while, I am now looking at one of the most SK drafts I have seen in some time.
I mean, a lot to be excited about here. The Diana mid, the Amumu support. I don't know if we've seen these picks. Definitely not last 2 years.
Nope.
Before that, probably, but it's been so long. Super exciting. The Vayne top as well. Really cool draft here in game number 2.
Yeah, that's more the SK that I love to see on the Rift, and I do want to know what the casters think about this. How's this one gonna go?
It went 2 and 10.
You want to know what the casters think?
Oh my goodness.
Medic just got a fun stat for us about Diana.
Yeah, last LEC Diana was Spring Playoffs 2024. Humanoid went 2 and 10 and lost.
2 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had one this year, I will say. LPL Playoffs. Care went 7-1 and 1 into a Syndra.
But it was jungle, wasn't it?
No, it was mid.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
my bad. I apologize, LPL. I was not familiar with your game.
He pooped on Rookie, actually.
Well,
did not
there
go
you
too
go.
well for Invictus Gaming.
Well, yeah, we don't have time to look back at that game because we've got to jump into this one right now. And we've got a menagerie of... Is that correct use of the word?
Yeah, sure.
But let's use Medic's favorite. We've got a smorgasbord of champions on the Rift today. You say that a lot, Medic.
I say it. I think it's one of those, I say it more often than most people, and it's such a word that people remember it, you know?
Yeah, but it's because it is because I'm British, but it comes across as very pompous.
Oh, yeah. We have a smorgasbord at afternoon tea today. We have a nice little scone of Diana mid, and then topped with some cream and jam. The cream, Mickey on a Mumu support. The last time we saw this anywhere in the world was LPL Spring 2024 from Ming. The last time it won was in the LCS. Ayla played it.
Ja sam toliko zbunjen, ljudi moji.
I'm glad you're finally using a real accent.
Yes, this has always been my accent. The last time we saw it in the LEC was a long time ago. I'm still going.
You are still going. I'm quite shocked you've kept it
playoffs 2022.
Kana XP zone je Wundera dole. Bez gore.
Wow, alright, well, thanks for that.
Kad sam stao i gledam, znači nisam upalio kameru, vidite kako stojim u mestu i gledam šta se događa.
Okay, let's look at early jungle pathing, shall we?
Možem boda pogledam malo, hvala. Sad nemaš Ignite i Busio će biti full health. Analyst ima little temp. I oni su level 2 prije tebe. Što ne uđu samo u njih?
Yeah, but how can Mickey step up, man? He's into double range.
Oh, he missed the Q, but he's got another one. Here we go, Mickey.
I sad nema 2 Q-a, Miki, šta radi Miki?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Šta radi?
I thought Busio maybe hit him with the bubble, but he probably didn't even take bubble, he's level 2. Haha.
Yeah, it took
WE, yeah.
WE. Yeah, Tycool's Blessing Ebb and Flow. Kano is level 3 to level 1 for Wonder. First time we've seen Kano ever play the Vayne top.
So, my perspective on this matchup is I think it's kind of a lame counter pick. Because I feel
it's
like
a range top, yeah.
Jako sam zbunjen kud ovo ide, neću lagati.
Because I feel like I never see Vayne actually win it enough to justify the pick, right? Like if you're going to pick Vayne into this, you really need to have to smurf on your opponent. Now, this kind of a CS gap, this is what a Vayne top lane should look like.
So I agree, 19 CS to none, but Wonder has like 7 here, 8 here that he can pick up.
He just missed one.
Okay, so he 3 Betty.
Yeah.
4.
Maš jedan. Ovog desno, ne, nemaš.
So he's got a whole wave.
He did get one wave to Kana's 3, who now has a cull. The only way that could have been better is if Yike packed in a way where they could have dived top when the wave crashed. Oh.
When the wave crashed?
When the wave crashed. Now, Diana...
Kje je Miki gank mid?
Oh, hang on.
Čim vide skin za povući se nazad.
He's level 2.
Yeah, he's chasing there. Got one.
He needs one more minion
Chuck
for 3.
Out the bandage.
Yeah, so Diana mid. It is largely uninteractive, but I love that Leader has gone for the electrocute because Diana jungle you normally run on hit, so kind of the Dusk and Dawn or the Nash's Tooth, or just basically the idea is I'm auto-attacking you a bunch. Whereas electrocute Diana is I one-shot you.
Sure.
I will Q into E, into like, and I'm trying to blow you up with my ulti, and the more people I hit with the ult, the more damage I'm going to end up doing.
Kana jako lepo igra matchup, iskreno baš lepo igra matchup.
You'll see things like, oh my goodness, my brain is blanking. You know the Thunderbolt? Storm Surge, thank you very much. But basically you'll see like high burst damage items. Rocket Belt is very common just for that.
Lider već resetovao i portok, ja Hu nije, tako da iako Hu ima malo pritiska ovdje nije ni bitno. Još sam i po koraka pređe i mogu da se komiram kod čovjek, tako da...
You're going for more just straight up burst damage. So I'm excited to see that version of Diana because we just don't get it very often, to be completely honest.
Yeah, in fact, the last time we saw Diana mid, as I said, 2024 playoffs?
Playoffs?
Yike looking for Leader in the mid lane. Yeah, who's still 3 stacks away from having his stun charged. Skeens is here too. Did Yike delay his Razor Beaks or are they up? They are up, so it's just going to be an exchange of Razors.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get the Brawn one, and then someone else can get the Gillette.
Ships passing in the night, you know.
The last Diana game on Leader solo queue, I've just been told he went 12 and 20.
I've seen so many deaths.
I've seen Niski
20 smrti u solo queue.
Stun coming out, Yike with the flag and drag. And that's 2 ships passing in the night, but slightly grazing each other.
To, Kjehu ostao bez flasha, to nije loše uopšte.
That is a lot of deaths.
Yeah, but he got 12 kills. But like, we don't know how many assists he got, Betty. We don't know how many assists he got.
Alright, well, Mickey's mid.
I think he's... no, he has
Mora da ispuša mid s njim. Mara Kjehu da ima flash ovdje ubio bi lidera sad, tako da...
Being generous, Betty.
Sneaky, you cheeky.
So Kana is double the CS.
Će pecne kulu, uzme plate, ide nazad i nastavi da stakuje kal.
To be punishing your lane opponent. One is going to catch a decent amount of farm here, to be fair. Another play.
Got that one with the hop.
Yeah, that he did. Nice. Alright, Mickey is just wandering. He is...
Well, he's not allowed to be close to people because he's a Mumu.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah, because of the law. Right.
She plays Zyra, doesn't she?
Okay, no, I said the law. You don't get to correct me on that one.
She is the law in my book. I don't know any other laws. He's trading with Yopper. Barrier coming out from Yopper as he looks to... get some damage back into the...
Cinkali strana cleanse zbog Amuma jer će ovaj samo da baci ulti da ga stana, tako da, to jest da ga ruta, tako da je fajn. Našao mu je summoner i Opa mora skela, a nema Nami ovaj game. Nema enchantera, tako da će Corki biti drastično slabiji nego što bi bio da u stvari ima supporta koji radi s njim.
Of spring. Yeah. But guys, we're going big here. So what's the fastest best of 3 ever in the LEC?
In the LEC is important.
Finger, ovo je Orion, ali nije nužno bitno. Mislim, sve te trake za hodanje, to je baš traka za hodanje, ti idu do 6 na sat i nemaju elektronski nagib. I sve štite kineske trake, znači kogod uzmeš kineska je. Ovo je dobar kombo, će dobiti kill. Ja sam je uzeo, tipa bila je 50.000 i onda sam ja uzeo na 50% popusta, znači 25k, 230 evra sam dao za nju. Mislim da nije vredna 50k, realno. Tako da odeš na ponudu, čekaš akciju i onda kad bude 50% kupiš je. Imao sam i za trčanje sam dao 95k, mislim da je koštala, baš je skupa bila za trčanje, ali to je bila ono profi traka, elektronski nagib, sve ludnica, baš dobra traka. Ali nju sam koristio i da trčim i da idem uzbrdo i sve. Sad više ne trčim, nema potrebe. Jer kao tad mi je trebalo skinem ono najviše kila što sam skidao, nam je trebala traka baš, ono full traka. Ali ta je zauzimala i bila je teška ako tuči. Zauzimala je puno mesta i sve to. Ova traka ima tipa 8 kila. Tako da nju mogu samo da podignem i da je stavim gde god i plus može se uspravno podigne. Jer kao i dalje sam u stanu, mislim, sad ne znam koliko mesta, pa mi onda odgovara da imam i ovo za hodanje. I nju mogu stavim ispod stola za streamovanje i onda mogu da radim LEC i da hodam, što je super.
Have they cooked enough? We heard from BrokenBlade at the start they've been overcooking, but perhaps they've cooked up a dish that is enough to get an upset win against KC.
Overcooked obviously needs a lot of coordination with your friends if you're going to play that game. As does League of Legends.
Mickey's in the middle lane.
Yeah, moonfall.
Tidal wave bubble. Dobar bubble. On je živ. Oh my. Ovo je Riperoni verovatno. Dobar flash. Kara nema mane za Q. Nema mane za Q i dalje. Nije uzeo presence of mind. Proba da ga spusti još malo, ali Nocturne je mnogo jači od Jarvana u ovakvom fajtu. Tako da čak i ako Skins nema 30-40% health, on i dalje dobije Jarvana 1-1. Sad će Miki hekslaš preko zida. Teo. I to je ono što ja pričam u potovima, u skirmishu. Što me ljudi pitaju što kupujem potove. Što ja ne igram refillable toliko. Bukvalno zbog ovoga. U jednom trenutku tebi refillable pot napravi razliku između toga da li si dobio skirmish ili ne. Miš baci kombo, baci pot. I on je u ovom celom fajtu dobio fazom 100 healtha kroz potion. I da nije bacio taj pot, on bi ovdje bio mrtav. Ali ga je pot toliko nahilovo da možda preživi. Što je jako, jako cool, iskreno. Response there from Wonder, but he can't quite build up the rage meter to get the Mega Gnar. Then a trade of flashes between Kana and Skins as a kill goes over to Skins. His ulti was just about to come up, but he decided not to chase.
Makes sense. What are we calling the Moonfall Paranoia combination, Betty?
To soloki pa liči. Ima lika.
Call it the Artemis, because they went behind the moon. Yeah, and they were all in darkness. Artemis 2. This could be Artemis 3 Electric Boogaloo.
Okay, this is the difference between you and me. You're thinking of all these really cool references. In my head, I was thinking Moon Bang! It's when the moon goes bang! That's what I was thinking.
This is why they don't let you name abilities, man.
Really? You don't think that would be cool? Diana's ultimate hits 5 with the Moon Bang!
Well, it's called a Moonfall, but it's the combo with Paranoia.
Yeah, Moon Bang.
Moon Bang, okay, sure.
What about, you know the movie Knives Out?
Yes.
What about Moon Knives? Are now out, because Nocturne has knives on his arms.
He doesn't have knife hands. Tipper's down, flag and drag. Mickey hex flashes and realizes his mid lane is already.
I teško će lider igrati ovaj game.
The moon went bang!
The moon went bang, that it did. So, the thing about Diana, very good at going in, not that good at going out.
Yeah.
Rocket Belt will help a little bit, but unfortunately for Leader with no flash, there was nowhere for him to go.
11 minuta 2k gol. Ja mislim da samo se... Ja mislim SK samo oprašta od ovoga, bukvalno.
Ganks top lane, ganks bot lane, ganks mid lane. He's making his presence known all over the map, resulting in a 2.2k gold lead for KC with Calist largely sitting with that advantage.
Yeah, it's a 20 CS lead for Calist, which is pretty sizable. Kana also, I mean, 30, 25 CS ahead. I don't want to do maths. That's why we put the number beneath the gold at the top. It means I don't have to do maths on the fly. Spare on a Hexplate finish for Skins, the Rocket Belt for Leader. Yoppa on his way to a Triforce. Skins has been farming his jungle a little bit more rapidly than Yike, as to be expected. As the Jarvan...
Gde će Jopa, brate, zavisi, ne znam. Mislim da postoji šansa ako ostave Mikija, mislim da ni Jopa neće se mrda. Mislim da će ostati u SK za sljedeći split. Pitanje je gde će sljedeće godine. Mislim da ove godine ostaje u SK. Jer ne vidim zašto bi SK menjao Jopu. Šta god da rade, ne vidim što bi Jopu menjali. Mislim da Wundera i lidera, ok, Skins, ajde tu i tamo, nije ni užasan. Tako da nemam pojma, ne znam, baš nije dobro za SK, nije dobro za SK.
Also provided a great line of vision through the river, so Mickey is spotted whenever he moves out of the lane, which he has been doing quite a lot of the time. Leader looking for Yahoo. Dashes forward, Moonfall out as well. The tip was trading.
Dorli da došli do njega. Ali ovo je ne baš optimalan trade, iskreno. Što dobije jednako batine kamtelaro? Ne, on je bio taman posle. Ako još malo korake mogu siđem s trake, do 20 minuta moram hodati, mislim i to je to. Onda idem da vratim traku i da sednem se odmorim.
I thought that when he went back to base, that's what he was going to do. But he in fact did not have the null magic mantle, so that's what he picked up.
Just gets himself a little bit more magic, because there's still a little bit of magic.
Kana BF opener.
Just went Mininar, doesn't have that rage bar stacked up in any way, in case he had 4 players up here. So it's going to be at least some of the plates off of it. Probably, I mean, you've got a paranoia on its way in the form of Skins.
Izvedi Jopa. Pa mislim vidi, Jopa sad ima LEC iskustva, tako da Ošaj i Jopa su uvek bili tu negde sa drugačijim stilovima igre. Jopa je uvek bio malo agresivniji i Šaj je bio malo više konsistent u igri. Ali sad Jopa ima LEC iskustva, što mislim da je velika stvar. Mislim, realno gledano možda bi i Šaj imao da nije iz Srbije pod broj 1. A po 2 da je Supa grifovao. Ali on je bio u kojoj akademiji, a Supa je... Dobro, mislim, nije ni Opa bio u SK akademiji, kad realno pogledaš. Lider se protobeltuje u zid. Skins igra dobro ovaj game. A mislim, vidi, Wunder je realno... Vrate, ko ja dođem igram LEC? Mislim... Da me nesete pogrešno, ali čovek je već otišao u penziju i vratio se iz penzije. Mislim, to je bukvalno kod ja, sad budem uzorno, ja ću sad igram malo. Znaš, nije to... Što se tiče kao igračkog staža... Ne mislim nužno ni da je prešao, da je ono kao past his prime, jer mislim da svako ko razume igru na tokom nivou možda se vrati. Samo mislim da mu nije stalo koliko mu je stalo ranije, znaš. Samim ti mislim da ne igra LOL koliko je igrao ranije, mislim da nije naš ono. Kao cijelo mimo, ono da je Wunder igra WoW pred Worlds ili šta god. Znači, mislim da samo ranije dok se probijao i se mnogo više trudio oko toga da bude bolji, gdje sad više se realno ne trudi. Kao ok, on chilla igra, ali... Ali da. Which is a fine place to be. The problem is the AD carries. Kalista's just so mega fed.
And Kano is also almost 2,000 gold ahead. As Yike caught here a little bit. Yahoo flashing in for the stun. And Amumu is sent packing. Leader TPing in, looking at the Moonfall. Yike's going to flash away from it. Boostio will be fished for.
Okej, Jopa. Pa bar je našao kill ako ništa.
You look at it, and SK had to invest the TP, whereas Yahoo, I mean, Yahoo and Yike did flash, so a couple of summoners traded across the board. No one can really answer Kana right now. Paranoia is gonna go in, looks for the Shroud of Darkness to dodge the stun.
Mora da čeka. Lepo ga je džukovo. Mislim će preživi ovo. I sad Yike treba da ga nađe. Yike. Šta nije flag imao na cooldownu mu je bilo. Skins umira ovdje. Doš pokupla pada. Da li bi Wunder bio najveći ime? Pa da, u suštini sad trenutno je Ruby najveći ime ikada. Bravo, Jopa. A Little Tempo... Kalist ne sme levo, on umire ovdje. Kalist je nije mrtav, bravo, lepo. Real uzeo dosta keša, boli go za grind. Pa dobro, tu stoji. S tim da ono, znaš, uzeo je dosta keša, ali sam siguran da je i potrošio dobru količinu. Zavisi koliko je investirao i sve to, ali... Ako nije investirao i uzeo neke biznise da ga održavaju... Znaš, i dalje mislim da hoće da uzima još keša, razumeš, mislim ko neće. Skins farmuje Kjahua. To pa klasika. Kako može streamer? Pa da, ali ne može, brate, ni svaki igrač da bude streamer. Mi ne znam koliko Wunder ima gledalca na Twitchu, ali mislim da to nije nešto... Znaš, kad pogledaš wow. Jer nije baš ni sada svaki igrač može da upali stream i da zarađuje od streama. Dosta igrača samo nisu zanimljivi za stream. Lider? Brate, lider, pa ne možeš da igraš, ajoj. Mislim da je SK završio za ovu sezonu nakon ovoga. Da, dosta smo vidjeli od SK, iskreno. Iskreno, dosta smo vidjeli od SK. Dosta, nema šta. Quickly getting out of control. You'd think in this kind of chaotic, skirmish, heavy game that it would favor SK with the Diana and the Nocturne looking for picks, but so far it's only been Skins that's really finding these kills. KC 4,5 Soma head, 2 od 2 Drake-a. Kana dobija free skill, oni ne igraju više ovu partiju. Užas. Na Dijani koja bi trebala da bude jedan od njegovih glavnih pikova. Pa dobro. Ništa, pošto ova partija gotova, ajmo pogledamo šta gledamo sljedeće nedelje, ne? Od stvari koje su nam relevantne. O, 1-1. Sljedeće nedelje Shifters Fanatic, to će biti smijenje od serije, jer ako Fanatic izgubi od Shiftersa, mislim da će da ih razapnu na Twitteru. I Navi će bude dobar game. Onda Fanatic Navi, to će biti napeto za Fanatic. Casey Shifters i Stomp. Casey igra 3 gema sljedeće nedelje, nice. Shifters Navi, Casey Fanatic. A Fanatic je trenutno pred ispadanje. I Fanatic igra 3 gema. To Fanatic ima tešku, ima u Casey Fanatic, Casey će bude show isto.
I think we're talking a little bit about it. KC played really well through Kana, 3.5k ahead, right? The problem for SK is who matches Kana.
Stormrazor, Hex, Hexplay to QSS, interesantan build.
In my head, I could see like a full item Nocturne can probably go toe to toe with a Vayne.
Ne.
You also have to spell shield the Condemn.
Ne dobijaš Vayne, 3 života ne dobijaš Vayne, tu ja ne znam šta pričaju braće. Vayne ima exhaust, full build Vayne, urniše full build Nocturna.
is also Kalista just beating Yopper in pressure as well.
Well, yeah.
So you have two losing lanes. Leader can kind of match Yahoo. Like, we see him chunking Yahoo out and dealing with him, but...
Mogu 2 na 1 da ga ubiju, ali 1 na 1 Nocturno Vayne. Vayne mora da izrifa haos.
It's been kind of working. Kind of is doing a lot of work there.
Baš moraš da mi istrajaš da te Nocturno ubije 1 na 1. Kad si full build? Jer ništa Canon ne sprečava da uzme jedan armor item. Mickey uleteo izintolo. Mada supporta mu, mislim šta može da radi. I Drake.
Unfortunate news, Vedi. I'm really sorry about this. This will not be the fastest ever best of 3 in LEC history.
Close though, close. Well, KC are on track to making a quick best of 3 though, as they find themselves their 3rd dragon of the game. They have been dominant in the Drake department this series. Soul is now a single dragon away. We look back, and it's hard to watch. Mickey so close, doesn't quite, a sidestep from Kana. The quick exhaust means that Nocturne...
Ne, Kana ga je samo prebio. Lep exhaust, nije morao da QSS-a. Fear nije otišao off. Nema šta, sve su tačno radili.
That's just the third, I guess. Doesn't matter.
That's the type of positive attitude.
Leader going in. Leader kills Kana as Kana kills Wonder. Leader now, he's done the going in part. The going out part is difficult. Oh, he gets the shield. Paranoia out as well, but still the kill goes over to Yike, who isn't feared and now has Busio there to help him out. Flash away from Skins, Mickey. Could go in. No curse on Sad Money. Tidal Wave. Shroud of Darkness not needed. And he does the run.
Yeah, so Yike still strong enough to just straight up beat down onto Leader. Okay, Yahoo now top lane.
Oh, he used the stun. Tibbers comes out, but Yopper looking for the damage. Flashes for it. Needs the missiles to hit. Tibbers blocked one in the middle of the fight. Flash for flash. And in the end, Yahoo does escape. Yopper has learned from Leader. He's like, hey, how do you beat an Annie? You go all in. Stunned with the disintegrate, but Phosphorus Bomb finds its mark, and Tibbers won't be strong enough to avenge his fallen owner.
Okay, so SK keep finding picks where they can. The kills are 11 to 16. But SK, they're just getting too much. Sorry, KC are getting too much on the map. They are converting every objective. Yike is now monstrous on the Jarvan. 4-2 and 8 the scoreline. With both the Black Cleaver and the Sundered Sky working towards the GA. Like, he himself, like, who deals with him on a side lane? Like,
what, with Yike?
Yeah, Yike. Not that he'll ever play on a side lane, but genuinely, who's going to kill him?
I think Leader.
I don't think he can kill him.
Yeah, it's true. He's got GA now, so...
I genuinely think if I'm Jarvan, I will beat that Diana.
Oh, it's... I mean, Leader has a 1.2k gold lead.
Cool.
Mostly because all SK have really done proactively is kill Yahoo on repeat for the last little while.
Jadan Keku, ali dobro nebitno je, nije. Mislim, on je uvijek fine.
They're waiting for SK to step forward, which SK
well, hang on now, they have killed Kana.
They have killed Kana a few times, you're right.
The goal difference hasn't changed,
no,
but they have killed Kana.
They have killed Kana, you're 100% correct, Eddie. I don't want to do a disservice to SK.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of how SK turned this game around.
Nikako kolege kasteri.
It's a perfect wombo combo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Curse of the Sad Mummy, the Moon Bang, into a Narm into the wall, and a Yopper Phosphorus Bomb.
Sorry. It's all
you
good,
named it, Benny. You named the Moon Bang.
I said that it was a garbage.
Named the Moon Bang.
Lep skin za nami.
Paranoia out. They'll look for Busio on the backline. TP coming in as well from Yahoo, who joins the fight, and now... I mean, Kalist can just open up. Yike still unkilled. Meanwhile, on the top side, we see Kana just walking away. Yike's on the chase. Leader trying to get out, but Yike will get the slows. And with Kalist here, Skeens is not long for the rift. Kana trading with Leader. Kalist gets another kill. Leader, you are message, you are seen, and you are dead.
I ode Baron, i ode Gim. Nema što oni mogu tu da traže.
Alright, well, it is a one-sided affair as KC dominate the team fight. They'll get themselves the Baron. Wonder, though, rejoins.
Come on. Channel the good old days, Wonder. You got this. Okay, yeah, onto Kana. Dodges the Aqua Prison. Walks away.
He does not have this. Well, KC will get themselves the Baron. And they'll take firm control of this game. Let's look back at the replay and see how SK could have played this better. The problem is, that their Diana is in the top tri-brush in a 1v1 against the Vayne, which is not ideal. Nocturne completely abandons Mickey and Yopper and says, hey, let's see if we can kill the Vayne top. They do not. And now
Wonder can never join the fight. Exhaust. Wonder's playing in vision.
Ma jok.
Okay, Kana has longer range than that.
Dobro, nije morao zid da zagrli, ali nije ni bitno, zna da je fajn.
Leaders here.
Nope, i odi. Miki, Jopa gleda. Čovjek je 3-2 i gleda kako samo gube game. U fazonu je bilo bi lepo da mi opet 3 saigrača ne grifaju. Ovaj put Skins nije grifovao, ali... Mi Skins se ne pita, nima jok. 0-6-5-4-2-6-1-5. I Jopa došao u fazonu ljudi, a ja bi da igram igricu. Čak ide na neki tank build jer šta će da radim? Šta će? Baš je unplayable. Baš mi krivo Jopa iskreno. Mislim krivo mi Jopa, je igru u lecu, bole gubo. Ali kao, razumete. Mislim da baš nema ugao da se pokaže. Po rolovima najbolji u lecu. Top nak-nako, jungle rileč. Mid verovatno Caps. AD carry, support verovatno Kalist busio. Ne znam za mid iskreno. Ima Caps svoje trenutke, svi imaju svoje trenutke na midu. Ali to mi je nak-nako rileč skoro sigurno. Ali kao generalno overall ekipa, mislim da Casey je najbolja ekipa. Kad sve sabereš i oduzmeš relativno desu u odnosu na sve ostale, mislim da je Casey najbolji tim u lecu. Iskreno. Jako su dobri, jako su dobri. Ono što je najbitnije za Casey, mislim da nemaju slabu tačku. Mislim da su svi na strani Casey-a dobri. Jopa uleteo, bravo Jopa, mislim, umreće svejedno, gle, ali vrate, mora nešto da uradi kad mu ekipa run downa, ono, šta će? Ovo nije vredno, ali mora nešto da radi. Ma kakvi, ne radi ni lider ništa. Ma jak, nije igrao. Čekaj si kroz bot proba završi game, samo ovo je mučenje, bukvalno. Što najgore za SK, to je to, mislim, SK je ovdje ljudi izgubio i kraj. Sljedeće nedelje gledamo da li će Fanatik uspjeti da ne bude eliminisan. Da, to će biti game. I uzet će Nexus, to je to, gigabrz dan danas, 3,5 sata ljudi moji, lagani lecić nikad lakši. 8:30 završavamo program, ljudi moji, ovo je bilo jako brzo, lec je gotov za danas, ali nemojte brinuti, vraćamo se sljedeće subote što se leca tiče, vraćamo se na stream za nekih 2,5 sata što se tiče i mog live-a, tako da ljudi moji, pre nego što krene intervju, ja ću odjaviti program, ostavit ću naravno intervju, ali ja ste uživali u lecu danas. Ja sam tu večeras malo solokio, pa možda neki pirati, probamo da ubijemo bossa, mislim da je to okvirno neki plan. Svakako, EBL se nastavlja u sredu, moj stream se nastavlja večeras, a let se nastavlja u subotu. Ostavljam intervju. Sljedeće nedelje, kažem, gledamo da li Fanatik možda ostane u životu. Ja ostavljam intervju do rana, a mi se vidimo malo kasnije na mom live-u.
It's going to be an exciting week for sure. I don't know if tickets are still available for every, but you should grab them if they are, because it's going to be a banger weekend.
I don't need one, actually. I'm
That's good. That's good.
Other people can get it. We're going to hand over to PGL. Law, Finn, and Yike are sitting by, ready to take us through, I don't know, something about that series, something about general stuff. We'll see what they want to talk about. Go ahead.
What do we want to talk about, actually? That's a great question. Yike, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
That could have been an email, I feel.
Yeah.
How does it feel playing a game like this when you're dominating so much?
Yeah, I mean...
Do you feel like you're having more fun, like, trying stuff?
I mean, I had a lot of fun. It's the same as the Heretics game, basically. I feel like we're playing very good right now, and we win some game pretty fast, so that's good for us. And I guess this was like the most messy game. Did some mistake, like all of us, but I have fun. It's a bit sad. We only play like 3 best of 3s so far, and other teams have played like, I don't know how many, but much more than us. But that's just how it works, so it's fine, you know. We're gonna play a lot of matches in Paris and Madrid, so I'm hyped for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get your time for sure. Right now, I want to kind of check because I feel like whenever I watch a KC game, it's like the game is going normal and then 14-minute hits. At 14 minutes, you guys go from like a 300 gold lead to 2.5k gold lead. How does that happen? What are you doing that no other team is doing?
Yeah.
Don't spill your secret, okay? But like, give us a little bit of insight.
I mean, I think it's something we wanted to work on a lot. Like since last split was probably our mid game. That's where we were like maybe the weakest, and yeah, we've been just working on it a lot. I feel like we played the map very well. I think me, Yeho, Alan are very like in sync, playing where we want on the map, and it is very easy to play the map basically. And yeah, I feel like we just get our leads like individually, kind of like all the lanes and jungle, and then objectives, and it feels very simple right now how we play.
And how do you guys work on that? Because I remember like when I was playing, what you would do is just you would sit after scrims and you just go over LCK VODs. So how do you guys work on that? Is there like a team-wide review thing? Is it the coaches that help you? How have you been making such great strides in this area?
I mean, we've been scrimming a lot, right? Because we didn't play any games. But overall, I think the one thing we do is that every day, like it goes in a cycle basically, where everyone has like one presentation about like a VOD from LPL, LCK, and we just like talk about how we wanna.
Every single player has this?
Yes, and coaches as well.
And coaches
so we go like Kana one day, then me, and then it goes like after Seth, we go back to Kana basically, and we go like that. And that's a good method we have right now. Just watching games, and yeah, I feel like it's kind of simple the way we are working right now. I don't think we're doing anything special. I feel like we're just individually very good.
Just PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah, basically.
What is your reference and inspiration? LCK, LPL, any specific teams you have?
Oh, I kind of like LPL a bit more now, only because of how crazy the junglers can be, like with the invades and stuff. I need to watch a lot of like invade games and see how I can do it myself and play like invades very good, like level 1, level 3, all of these kind of invades. And that's what I've been working on like the last 2 weeks. Sadly, these 2 games, I don't think I did anything with